Hey, we love that umbrella guy. All right. Thank you.
I'm calling from Los Angeles, and I'm having a little problem under the name ThATuMBRELLAgUY. I sent him my phone number at least 20 times in the chat and told him to call me. He ignored me. I'm a man. I filed the report. If you guys could take a look at it and give me a call back, I would love to hear what you guys can do to help us. We really need to kind of stop this guy at least until Monday. I told him to call me. I'm a man.
You know what? I talk to your mayor.
Stomping the floppy shoes so hard, it'll leak the class delirious. You praying to stop so much, it's like you're having a religious experience. Despite all of your denials, I know that you know me. And your crew, ask your girl the last time she phoned me. Allegedly, just admit that even now you sing along. And even after I wreck you, you gotta bump my song. You should copyright loser because the dictionary cloned you. Crushed so hard, now my cleats own you. It's that umbrella guy, clutching the verbal hammer, locking you down in this inescapable syllable slammer. You wanna step up and try to oppose me? Yeah, you should ask anyone that really knows me. I'll take your blame, your girl, your dog, and move in your home, only to get out the verbal flamethrower and consume your plastic gnomes. You trip, you whip, you ride, your bride consumed by this mic hitter, just to drop them on the market to the highest bidder. It's that umbrella guy, live from the hat rack, with elbows that hit so hard you'll think it's a nuclear impact. I mean respecting you, please, that's the word you'll never earn. Yet another lesson you clowns have never learned. Along with standing tall in pride and repping values that you feel, and not fake morals you found inside your happy meal. I listen to you with your speaking style education, wondering if your parents bred with their relations. Wearing your big red nose and still thinking that you're a star, while you're forced to bump that umbrella guy inside your clown car. Yeah, it's that umbrella guy, broadcasting live to the masses. Timing out full, sorry we ran out of free passes. We gotta go further and not just expose you. Listen and believe royalty, we gotta depose you. Getting masked up because this flow is criminal. Dropping hammers so hard, they're subliminal. Unconsciously you want me to own you, as the parasol pope is set to dethrone you. And I'm out.
And I don't think I'm out. How's it going, folks? Megan will be here in a little bit. She is running even further behind than our already late intro. Something about that makes me laugh. People are always like, oh my God, the intro is so long. How come you're not on time? Make it later than the intro. Oh my God. How's it going, folks? Man, I tell you, Today has been a very fascinating one. I knew her hair wasn't ready. Exactly. You know, sometimes the body's willing, but the hair just ain't ready. Oh man, what a day, man. There have been so many weird things. You have LMNOP busting herself on live video today. Actually, going out screaming, yelling, having what was really weird wasn't her doing it. It was bringing the kid in, having them do stuff too, which we'll talk about. We also we had a little move that we should talk about as well today, and we've got this one thing that we've never addressed before, and it's kind of fascinating because, well, there's been a little bit of lying about the judge and what the judge actually did as part of it. It's kind of a fascinating little dilly there too. But let me pull up something here. Where did she do this today, you might ask? Oh, I see some people asking about that. Yeah, there was a live stream over with Travis today. You know, Travis was and we'll look at this, by the way. But Travis was setting money his own business, you know, just chilling out. And apparently that alarms and disturbs the people across the street. In fact, they had to start screaming things at Travis, which was strange considering not only did they do that, but they had to get the kid involved doing it too. Now, I thought that was interesting because they've always told us over and over again that as far as Tubetown is concerned and Travis is concerned, that the little kid was terrified of Travis and terrified of Tubetown. You remember all that discussion there? So essentially, she not only nukes that from orbit, which is kind of funny, but on top of it, she actually decides that she's going to nuke another topic from orbit too. So, like I said, she can't stop herself. It's pretty amazing stuff. But it was fascinating to see it happen. But it was even more fascinating to see it happen live. Can you imagine, like, you saying that your child is terrified of something, and then having them just scream things at some dude across the street? Like, it's such a bizarre thing. But that's how today went. But I mean, it's like that all the time. Also, just to pick up on something that we talked about the other day too, yesterday. I actually want to fill in the gaps on this one as well. You have DUI guy. Give me a second here. So DUI guy, apparently BBB is hyper obsessed with DUI guy still, to the point that he's been, I mean, posting about him and posting about him. I mean, it's so bizarre. You can see him, you know, it's interesting when you sue a guy, when you're involved in that, and then that goes weird. Oh yeah, today too. So apparently, you remember Silverman? I forgot this as well. You remember Silverman, the lawyer before? Yeah, apparently he had some judicial problems as well. So he ended up getting in trouble, and we will end up pulling the documents on all this just to see how it went. We actually don't have one document I can't get a hold of yet, but we need to see if we can do that. He apparently got a bar complaint. He was supposed to have a hearing about that, and he didn't show. So there was a order filed against him saying that he had to show up for a show cause hearing, and he didn't do that in a timely fashion. He finally filed something about that and ended up getting himself sanctioned and a little more. Well, I thought, well, that's kind of That's kind of interesting. Now, again, stuff like that can happen over all types of stuff. So I'm not being an absolute jackass about it, but I do think it's fascinating considering. Here we go again. You know, there seems to be a little bit of problem for anybody who actually, I guess, any lawyer that gets even near LMNOP. Man, I hope Sean's hiding away. I hope he has like a freaking lead-lined place around himself, because that's pretty bad. What's going on in Florida? Oh, I don't know. It's weird though, isn't it? But, okay, talking about the DUI guy thing, I was looking through some messages, and just to say, you have BBB trying to get involved in, let's see, I'll show you this here. He actually is trying to get involved in Larry Foreman case. So Larry Foreman has a case going on right now wherein he is suing. One second. He's actually suing some ex-employees, which again, we may talk about that in just a minute about with Megan. I'm not sure how much we'll talk about that, but he is, like I said, been posting all about it as his, gonna get up on that, right? Which is strange for Bruce, you know, because of his obsession through it, you know, talking about, Foreman, he isn't much of an attorney. Oh my God. He spends all his time and energy on YouTube being a content creator. I swear he's such a whiner, man. Although his analysis is fanboy style and devoid of any actual legal expertise. Well, he really wrecked you, didn't he? I seem to remember you saying, what was it again? Oh yeah, this case is going to be gone within a couple of weeks. It would just be poof. Now you're sitting on the sideline. So if this guy is a terrible lawyer, what does that say about you, Bruce? That's my question. By the way, props to Larry. His birthday was yesterday, so everybody make sure to give Larry some love too. Just a note, my birthday is next week, by the way. So that's kind of interesting. All the May babies representing. Oh man, the 15th, by the way. I'm on the bridge freaking day. So, but this is going to get really interesting in just first. You have the whining. Okay, he hitched his wagon to what the hales. Of course, he has to go there. A channel devoted to stalking poor neighbors of its own. The poor neighbors of its owner, in order to create contrived stories for YouTube content. What happened to Polyflop? Have you stopped posting the Polyflop? That's weird. You know, it used to be every time he described this stuff, we got to hear about the Polyflopping. But now we're not hearing it anymore. What's going on? That doesn't seem right, does it? Oh. But Larry here, he oh my God, so weird. He helps him do this and now attacks me for representing the neighbors. Oh my God. You know what's really funny? This guy here, he's still butthurt because he didn't get to go on. Oh, by the way, James, happy birthday, my friend. 52 years young, baby. That's awesome, man. You know what? According to very, very great legitimate sources that I totally am not making up on my own. Wink, wink. 52 is the new 25. What's that based on? Well, science, baby. I don't know. But let's sing you a happy birthday song. Happy birthday from all of us to you. Yeah. Happy birthday. May all your dreams come true, baby. There you go. Good times, man. Yep, 52 is the new 25, if you didn't know that. I'm totally not just making that up. I'm telling you. It's science. No, it's good, man. You go out there, have fun. You know what? Age doesn't mean anything. You know, you can live a fat stack life up into your hundreds. You know, well, maybe not hundreds, but you know, if you make it to 200, you let me know. But you know, if you can live a long one. I mean, it can go any which way. So you have fun with it. 52 is good though. So anyway, back to Larry. I just saw that roll in. I always like birthday announcements. Foreman, he came after me. His coverage. Look at him whine about another judge too. Karen Reed trial in Massachusetts. He accuses judge corruption. He should be disciplined for this. You know, it's so funny. Again, he tries. He's like that loser that tries to narc on anybody. That freaking, they do anything that he's gotten in trouble for. He's like, oh no, I got in trouble before. Actually, what's really funny is he's complained about the judge that he got in trouble with. He wanted Larry, in fact, to go in and to talk about how corrupt that judge was. You know, that's part of his mac and cheese story. So isn't that interesting? But since he's talking about Karen Reed, he should be sanctioned. What is up with that? I love that. I love how he's always whining about something. Oh my God. We're going to have some fun laughing at some Bruce stuff today too. Not this. This is just something to throw in there. If his former employees, now listen to this part. Okay, give me a second here. Let me make sure that this is set there. Now read this part here. If his former employees need some help, I handle cases like this where he's suing. Yeah. I handle cases like theirs all the time. Would you hire Bruce? Would you hire him? I mean, think about this. I handle cases like this all the time against dumb employers trying to prevent their former employees from making a living. What a moron. I mean, by the way, you know, the litigation is really more about violation of what you're supposed to be doing. Not going out and not making a living. But the idea of poaching employees from somebody, trying to, you know, doing damage to a business, doing things that you're not supposed to be doing. So him trying to get involved, I mean, maybe DUI guy, maybe he should want that actually. You know, I just thought about that. Maybe actually he would want that. I mean, Bruce is so good there. Good Lord. I love it. I love the idea that he wants to get involved with someone else. Yep, exactly, Kitty Ninja. You get those non-compete clauses in there. And you're not supposed to. So, I mean, if they've signed on to something, they have a non-compete clause, and yet they're doing something like that, and that's a big problem for them. Now, we'll see. We'll see how that plays. But I would think, man, if they want to get Larry Foreman the best lawyer that he would never have to buy, well, then maybe they should talk to this guy. I don't know. But that is so funny. He's trying to solicit people to go after Larry. I mean, can you believe this stuff? It's so insane. All because, again, Bruce didn't get to go on Larry's show one time in the past. So, because he didn't get to go on there, he's talked about it before. I mean, part of his hate boner for him and wanting to sue him, wanting to draw down on him, is because he didn't get his mac and cheese glory. Larry told him he'd have him on there, and then he did. So he decided that he's going to target him forever, I guess. Like, that's just, it's nuts. I mean, Larry's been pretty nice about his commentary about Bruce. He was actually very nice about it, to be honest, until Bruce decided, again, that he would put in filings, that he would try to destroy him. Like, after that, well, all bets are off, right? It would be interesting, though, if this guy decided to do that. He's like, he's a coward. He won't say anything to my face. This is the dude, by the way, that said that he won't go to court and to do anything, but he's out here talking trash like he's a somebody. He's a coward. He's afraid. I mean, isn't that funny? Check this out, though. Here's the rest of his comment on that one. I mean, again, he tries to pound on his chest and call people out. But like I said, he's the guy that won't even show up for his own show cause hearings, that won't turn on his Zoom because, well, again, you get to be the judge of that. It goes in the aftermath and decides to blame his problems on other people. But Larry Foreman is the coward who won't say anything to my face because he knows I'd expose him for what he is. What a loser. Oh my God. You got to admit that's pretty funny. Such a big talker. Like nothing. Exactly, Steve. He pounds on his chest. A cloud of smoke engulfs the room. He sounds like a Big Trouble in Little China freaking figure. Oh man, he sounds like the final boss of a Cheech and Chong movie. The smokester. Oh my God, man. Oh, by the way, so there was some question about something that came up too today. People were curious about a filing. Let me bring this up here. The way we understand this anyway, okay? Now again, we'll have some discussion about that. But you see this motion right here, number 16. Now, there seemed to be a little bit of confusion about what that meant, like who's filing or anything, because again, it's locked. Nothing's actually popped up on it. So people were speculating on whether or not that was, that was the judge doing something for element OP, or if that was something that it had to do with her getting any kind of free thing. I've seen everything from lawyers to security and more. By the way, again, props. Max Lab brought this up today, and I thought this was pretty good too. There were, I think somebody brought it up with a posting too, and I can't remember who sent that over as well. Max Lab, I appreciate you on that. So, what this is about is, or it looks like it is anyway, is about being served. You're talking about in this, you're talking about the Grangers. The Grangers actually bringing their own litigation. They're bringing it because of the prosecution that element OP actually decided that she was going to bring against them. So, looking at this here, what it looks like is it has something to do with the LP and service. Now, off of that, for whatever reason, the it's probably the sheriff. You know, the sheriff usually who ends up serving, and for whatever reason, the sheriff isn't serving. You know, considering they're out there so much, why couldn't they just do that? That would be a very interesting question. Why not? So you actually you want to bring in your own private server, I suppose, and you want to get that done. And the judge on there, they're saying, yeah, that's okay. So that looks like that's what's happening there. You know, it's a little bit odd and confusing. I'm curious why the sheriffs who were involved in service, why they couldn't get some of that done. There's something weird with Levy County, no matter what. Like, I always think the worst. You know, and maybe it's not the case that it's the worst, but I always jump to the worst conclusion. And that doesn't have anything to do with Hales and things that he says. It's the way that Levy County has conducted themselves. You know, in all these videos that I'm seeing, especially lately, body cam footage where you have a sheriff talking to Element OP or to other folks. The sheriffs seem to showcase some kind of weird bias. You know, they seem to be all about saying, oh, well, we're going to do our best. We're going to do our best, you know, to do something about that mean old Jeremy Hales. The way that they talk there, if he didn't have a camera basically strapped to him every time he was out or anytime he's doing something, he may well have a problem. That's fascinating to me, considering, again, what the weirdest part of it, I suppose, is them deciding they're going to throw in with a person that decided that they would sue them. They would take one of their officers to court over what? Over what indeed? So that, to me, it seems to point out like something is terribly wrong there. Okay, now I want to point out something that happened today. Now, give me a minute here. There's a few parts in this video that are actually hard to make out because of the way I think the microphone was adjusted at first. You know, Travis, first of all, has this set up so he can hear himself, you know, or people can hear him, not hear what's going on in the live stream outside of the discussion there. But you have, in this, you have some strange stuff that actually transpires. Give me a minute here. Now, one part of this that is actually really interesting, in the background, the whole time, you can hear Element OP, you can hear JC, and you can hear the kid. And it sounds like, you know, through a lot of this, for over an hour, you have yelling for sure. You have what sounds like argument going on the other property over there. You know, all kinds of just randomness and stupid, which you kind of come to expect, you know, a lot of times. But then in the middle of it, you have, now this gets a little strange. You're talking around, I'm going to pick it up around 122 here, okay? I want you to listen to something. And we'll go back and play it a few times. But there's something that happens right in here that is so messed up. And it nukes so many things that Element OP has been trying to say. Has been trying to say with a kid involved and more. So let's check this out here.
Chat on. You too, Loretta. You have a good day.
We'll let it.
Yeah, we almost got 300 people in here, man. Let's get 300. Let's do it.
I think it happens.
I should have put a drama. I should have put a drama title in there.
I think it happens around the 33-second mark. You can hear the
So
yelling.
now they'll be
in
going
the
back and watching
background.
this and seeing what all is going on. Oh, never, JC. Oh, look at him. So now they got the little girl under the fence right there yelling Super Dave at me.
They've got what's happening there, and you can hear it now. Again, I would encourage you to go listen to this yourself, because I had to crank up headphones and everything else to
me
make
like
out
4 times, maybe.
4 times. What's up, by the way? Yeah, it's
What's
hard
up?
it's hard to make out. Like, it's really hard to make out in here. But regardless, you know, these people sitting and yelling across the street. Did you watch this whole thing while you were looking in? Because I was
did.
shocked. The amount of yelling coming off that property, period.
Oh my God. The screaming and the yelling, it never stops. And at one point, I don't know if you played it already, the one you were like, what's happening at this timestamp where it's like blood curdling screams.
Yeah. No, I need to bring that up, because that's pretty wild too.
It's no wonder that her neighbors are always calling CPS on her. If it sounded like that at my neighbor's house, I might do the same thing. Not saying anyone should do that. I'm saying it's no wonder that her neighbors have in the past done that. Sorry I'm late, folks. Very complicated business, this hair. It took 4 hours to do what was done today. 4 hours.
4 hours. Oh my God.
You can imagine. So yes, it threw off my entire afternoon. You can imagine it's quite drastic of a change. It turned out really good, but I was nervous there for a minute. I was like, oh my God, did I make a very bad choice? But no, it turned out good. If you are a Locals member, meganfox.locals.com, you've already seen a picture. If you want to see a picture early, you got to sign up over at Locals. Sorry.
109.30. That's the one I was talking about. What the heck is this? It's right in here. This is the spot you were talking about, because I was like, what the God's name?
You maybe with some sags. Was nothing like that. So whatever.
You hear it in the background. It's low. Hear that? Even he's like, what the heck?
Yeah, it's low,
that's-
but
that's
it's
what's gonna rip down.
loud.
It's loud.
some
I mean,
slow wind,
considering
slowing down.
he doesn't have the mic set up
Ain't no doubt about it.
to really, it shouldn't
Well,
pick all that
like I
up.
said, not to go back to beating on a dead horse, but yesterday when we came by, you'll see in the video, it wasn't like that. There was just like 1 or 2 maybe with some sags. It wasn't nothing like that. So whatever.
Listen to that. It's crazy.
Oh.
Whoa.
Consider you're talking about a little kid.
Look at
you
his
know?
face. Look at his face. He's like, whoa.
Yeah, he seems disturbed by what he's hearing.
Yeah, and what's really scary about that? You know what's really scary? Is that if he were concerned, which he looks concerned. Look at him. Look at his face.
Yeah.
He doesn't know what's going on. Normally, in a normal situation, if you're hearing those kinds of noises from next door, you might call somebody. But in this situation, you can't do shit. Can't call anybody. Can't go over and say, hey, is everything okay? That's really scary.
Well, it's fascinating considering LMNOP has said all this stuff about Cook, about him being a monster and everything else. If even an inkling of that were true, right? I would want a way, if something happened on my property, I would want a way that someone might call the police. You know, if something terrible happened, there ain't no way anybody's going to call to help out. Because, I mean, that's their norm anyway. It's crazy, but I couldn't believe, like, again, remember how many times they have said that that the girl is terrified of Travis, terrified of Tubetown, terrified of the cutouts and more. You know, they said all this stuff. Like, oh my God, they're avoiding. You know, there's no way that they would do anything, and yet you have them having the kid scream across the fence. They're screaming Super Dave, which is funny too, because Super Dave's also on the outs with their little communita. Yeah, 2L's gonna have to slather down 2 like triple stacks to be able to eat her fillings on this one. You notice they're not yelling like 2 fleas, No, they're yelling stupid Dave.
Isn't that interesting?
It is, isn't it? I mean, the one place that goes out and fundraises them all the time, and they don't
They're not.
scream at
She's
them.
not screaming that.
No, I mean, they're
Interesting.
screaming out, God. I mean, just cholesterol wise, period. It's bad for the kid. But yeah, listen again.
Oh, never, JC. Oh, look at
So
him.
you can hear it.
So now
I mean,
they got the little
clearly.
girl under the fence right there yelling Super Dave at me. You guys heard that, right?
He's
Literally,
like, what
the little girl just squatted down. There's a little hole in the fence. I'll show you.
You can hear them say there.
There's like
That
a
was
little
really clear.
hole down there.
Yeah, so they got the through here.
Okay, so why do you build a fence and complain and scream and cry about your privacy? And then you find the one hole in the fence to scream things at your neighbor that you say you don't want any attention from. I have a button for this.
We want privacy. We want privacy.
Indeed. Oh,
One
that was
more
funny.
time.
We want privacy. We want privacy.
Seriously, like I can't think of a better comparison than that South Park episode. We want
Well,
privacy. We need privacy. Everyone is looking at us, and yet
Well, remember, multiple times you've had Lynette talk about how the child has said that Travis is a monster, a bad person, that she's afraid. Lynette has said that the child has noted that the child is terrified of. I mean, that's been the talking point. So you talk about nuking your own bullshit from orbit. This is how you do it. The kid is so terrified that they're trying to gaslight him across the fence.
it's crazy. It makes no sense if what they are saying is true, that they just want to be left alone. And Travis is literally talking in a normal, quiet voice. There's no way that his voice is carrying across that street. So unless they were watching on YouTube, stalking his channel, they would not know that he was live.
Yeah, and it keeps going. That's what's crazy about this stuff.
Oh,
It keeps going.
God.
Yeah, because let's see. So
How dare you, sir? My Instagram-loving wife has always wanted her privacy.
Sorry, I couldn't help myself.
that episode's funny.
I
That
know.
episode's pretty awesome.
That's it. I only have 2 buttons from that episode, and I played both of them.
She keeps encouraging him throughout this. Like I said, I don't know how much picks up with I can hear it better with crappy phone speakers. It picks it up and pushes it right to the front. It catches it, but you can still hear the yelling.
If you have headphones in, it helps.
Yeah, you just got to max them out. That's one of the
Yeah.
problems too.
We'll try not to scream in your ears.
So you can hear the kid.
I guess that guy's loving it.
Super Dave. That's, right there, very clearly.
I hear Lynette saying
There.
something too.
Yeah,
That guy gets a
she's
plug.
doing it.
I guess that
Yeah,
guy's loving
she's
it.
getting them to yell. Actually, I believe here's my conspiracy about this. By the way, what happened that they would want everybody to not talk about? What happened
What?
yesterday?
Yesterday. I can't even remember what
Let
happened
me see.
yesterday.
Contract yesterday.
Oh yeah, the contract.
Yeah, it blows apart their whole narrative of we brought in this lawyer. He attached to us because he believed in us so much. He wanted to represent us for free. He was going to take his time and resources and invest them in us for free. And then you find out, no, that's actually not true. The lawyers that were attached to her, they had a 40% contingency set up.
Tug?
Huh.
I have real breaking news.
Oh,
It is not about this case, but you're going to be floored. Are you ready for this?
okay. All right. Please.
Laura Owens has been indicted on fraud charges.
Oh my God.
Defendant went to extreme lengths to manipulate Clayton Eckert. Maricopa County Attorney Rachel Mitchell has announced the indictment of Laura Mitchell Owens on felony
Holy
charges
crap.
related to a paternity scheme. In July of last year, the Maricopa County Attorney's Office began to investigate Laura Owens at the request of a Superior Court judge. This came after the defendant made several inconsistent statements during a paternity hearing involving a former contestant on the television program The Bachelor, Clayton Echard. Owens originally filed a lawsuit seeking child support from Echard, then dropped her claim alleging that she had a miscarriage. MCAO investigators found that between May 2023 and June 2024, Owens altered an ultrasound image, fabricated a pregnancy video, and lied multiple times under oath. A grand jury has indicted Owens on the following: 1 count of fraudulent schemes and artifices, a Class 2 felony, 1 count of forgery, a Class 4 felony, 4 counts of perjury, a Class 4 felony, and 1 count of tampering with physical evidence, a Class 6 felony.
Holy shit, that is crazy. I didn't think they were going to do it. You know, they waited until everything totally went through appeals. You know, it's fascinating because I think that her own lawyer and her own moves probably made this happen.
I'm blown away. I have no words.
Didn't believe it happened.
I have no words for this. This is incredible.
She needed it. Now, what needs to happen through this, you know, with all of this coming together, what needs to happen is a challenge to the protective orders that she's been hiding behind.
Yeah.
See, that's what we were.
The one that she just had re-upped against Greg
Yes.
Gillespie. Oh my God.
See, that's what disgusts me with all this bullshit that we cover in the What the Hales case. There are people out there that really do manipulate and destroy lives with the kind of stuff that we're talking about here. And those people, they pretty much walk with impunity, while other people like LMNOP and fucking Cook, they muddy the waters. It's hard enough to get things done anyway. You know, usually you don't get anything done like this. I mean, look at the amount of money and the amount of support that Clayton had to have. So for him to get it, period, first of all, congrats to him. But it does show you that there are people out there that really do misuse this stuff. God, that's crazy. I'm looking at the...
I did not. I just retweeted the announcement.
Yeah,
oh my God!
I see it
on. My God! I did not think this was going to happen. Thank God. You know, I've been saying for so long, if no one is going to prosecute perjury, then stop making people raise their hand and swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth, because it's a joke. And every once in a while, somebody needs to go down for perjury in order to remind everybody else this is serious. It is not just minor perjury. Thank you, Tammy, for reminding me of that. It's not just minor perjury. Perjury damages people. It damages the system. It damages our faith in the system. And we can't have a justice system that allows people to lie. And oh my God, it's happening. I can't believe it's happening. It's happening.
Well, it needed to. You know,
where's David Gingras tonight? Is he on X? I'm going over to his.
Is he on X? Probably.
Where's David Gingras? He said this wasn't going to happen. Jingy. Oh my God. Did he delete himself off of, or you know what? He blocked me ages ago. Dang it. Did he block you?
No, I've got to remember his freaking.
It's just at David S. There he is. At David S. Gingras.
Yeah, I'm not blocked though yet.
He blocked me, but I can
I'm gonna
see
tag him in.
Tag him in it. Tag him.
I'm going to. Give me a second.
Oh no, his cat Aurora was at the vet today. Not today, April 30th. That's the last time he tweeted, April 30th.
Okay, let's see. Laura Owens is being indicted for false allegations and more. Let's just say. She faked pregnancy while going after Clayton Echard. Fake pregnancy, faked medical proof, and got a protective order to boot. Let me see.
Oh
Order
my
to boot.
God,
Now I'm
I
gonna
can't believe-
wait. Let me tag him in first. Let me see.
I'm texting Dave right now. I'm texting Dave. Don't worry, chat. Dave probably is. No, he's not sleeping. It's only 7:57 in
Gingras.
Tennessee.
Any comments? I know exactly. We're here.
He can't be sleeping. I'm texting him right now. Oh my God, the emails are flooding my inbox right now.
You
This
said this
just
was-
came out like a minute ago, literally a minute ago.
happening?
Oh my
I'm just
God.
kidding. I'm sorry, Chad. I've got to talk a
Oh,
little
this
shit.
is big.
okay?
This is huge. It's huge. We do have to talk some shit. We have to talk some shit.
Oh man, well while we're doing it, man, give me 1 second. I'll bring this back up in a second here. Well, I mean, let's make it a little more interesting. I am proofing this while I'm talking. I'm in the middle of posting this. So Laura Owens is being indicted for false allegations and more. Look, I'm tagging old Gingrey in it. I'm like, I'll be like, what gives? I thought you
I thought you said this wasn't ever going to happen.
I thought shit this wasn't happening. Are you fired? Are you fired yet?
Fired yet? Oh, Laura, I've got one thing to say, Laura. One thing.
Yes. If you hear me typing away, that might be what happened.
Tug is busy taunting people on Twitter.
Yeah, I can't help it sometimes. That's the only reason I like that.
Gina says the typing is so funny. Breaking news, type.
Yeah.
We can't help it. You don't understand. We've been waiting for this moment for
I never
over
thought
a year.
I never thought it would happen ever. I'll be straight up,
Actually, we're almost at 2 years. Think about this. Wait.
Well, and they set on it. Now, again, they were sitting through the appeals process, but I don't think it was just that. I think what they did going after the judge, that's really what cinched it. When you went after the judge and the judge's family, you personalize it. When you personalize that shit, these people will get you. They do. They will come after you. They won't forget it. So Clayton Eckert, somewhat. Clayton Eckert being known, having a bit of connection there, somewhat, that stuff will help. But I think really going after the judge, talking shit about the prosecutor and more, that's what we saw coming out of that camp too. I think when they did that, I think that was big. I think people also keeping the pressure on the prosecutor and writing, telling them, I know it's been 2 years, but this ain't going to go away. I think that mattered as well.
Dave Neal hasn't tweeted anything since May 2nd. How does he not know this is happening right now? I'm dying.
Yeah,
I
know,
need
man.
to wake him up.
Damn you and y'all having
I'm
little
calling
kids.
I'm calling him. I'm calling him right now. Dave, wake up.
That's funny.
He can't be sleeping.
That is so funny.
I'm calling him. I'm doing it. He's got to wake up. How has he not tweeted anything? He's not. Where is he? This is crazy.
How dare he have a life? Actually, Twitter though, he doesn't use Twitter that often. Like not a lot.
Maybe
it's still not a habit.
On YouTube. Maybe he went live on YouTube. I don't know. I didn't look.
Yeah,
Oh,
let me check before you start
God.
some shit with Dave Neal. He's all
I'm gonna
live
start
and he's
some
like, "What's
shit
this
with
crazy
Dave.
woman doing?"
Why is she calling me? He could be live. I know Lauren is. Lauren's talking about this is insane. This is insane. This is such great news. This is the best news I've had all year.
Nope.
It is.
He's not.
He's not. Where is Dave? Is he on vacation or something? Oh my God, maybe he went on vacation.
That's what happens. See, if we ever want anything to happen like this, we need one of you folks to go on vacation. Like one of you folks, because
all the shit happens.
See, it doesn't, it doesn't happen to me. I carry a computer with me no matter where I go. So I can't really be like, if I go on vacation, it does happen sometimes, but I'm ready. I do carry a computer.
I feel like I can't breathe.
No,
this is
crazy.
amazing. It's amazing.
Let's pull up that up.
I didn't think it was going to come.
Yeah, this is the middle, and you know, sometimes we have this. So, folks, we will talk about what we're talking about in a minute.
Yeah, we'll get back to it. But this is big news, you guys. This is like we've been
Well, it's
waiting.
been years in the making.
Yeah, a year and a half for this. A year and a half. And by the way, we were gaslit by her attorney constantly. Constantly gaslit.
I mean, worse than that, he came in and threatened every person that covered this. If you had a voice here and you thought anything was wrong, he threatened personally, 5, 6 people. I can't believe he never blocked me. I thought one day I just got
You
in the
got
mood.
tramp stamp lawyer trending. How could he not block you?
No, I just one day I was like, I'm gonna make fun of this clown. Like, he was commenting on Justice or Clayton's Justice here, you know, on one of their threads, and I was like, fuck this dude.
He was like threatening to sue a Redditor, threatening to sue, to open up Reddit's accounts and dox a Redditor, and threatening to sue Schnitzel Ninja for going to get public documents, threatening me, threatening Lauren. He threatened Lauren for months. She had to go buy and she had to get an attorney. He threatened Dave. He had to spend like $12,000 on attorney's fees for the kind of shit that these people put him through. All because she wanted to stop the truth from coming out. Oh, they threatened Liz Neptune. Remember that? Like threatening people into silence. This is such a big deal because what happened here is what's going to happen in the Hales case. The truth will not be stopped, no matter how much you threaten, no matter how much you harass. We will continue to tell the truth until it breaks through. And this is it. This is the big breakthrough in the Laura Owens case. She is being indicted. She is facing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 felonies. Wait. No, there's more. What? A class 2, 1 count, no, 4 counts, 4, 5, 6, 7 counts, 7 felonies. 7 felonies.
Well, you know, typically somebody like this may actually eat the charges and just, you know, take something lesser. You know, basically, she probably wouldn't face all that much. To be honest, they would probably will and deal with her and give her something pretty light. But she will never admit that she did this. So she's going to end up.
She's going to fight it. And guess what? She's going to fight it. She's going to go to trial, and I'm going to be there. You can count on it.
Yes, man. That needs to happen because
you can count on it. I will be in the courtroom when it goes to trial. I will be there. I'm sure Dave will be there. I'm sure Bruce from Oregon will bring the media van. We will be there.
I can't believe that she is actually being prosecuted though. Or indicted rather. She's going to be prosecuted. That's amazing. That's amazing. I mean, she went from, again, she had at the beginning of this, she had Clayton Eckert on the ropes. I mean, the system, it is not geared for something like this. It is geared for false accusers, you know, but I hope when we talk about listen and believe in any of these cases, whether it's these people going out and claiming indigence or, you know, saying that somebody's some kind of a monster because I said so, or whether it's a fake pregnancy or whatever, I hope that gives people pause. And I hope they realize that you need to go and look up some of this and really see what's beneath it before you destroy somebody's life and career. You know, some people deserve it. Some people actually do deserve to have everything burned down. There are some awful fucking human beings out there, but make sure that they're the right ones. You really, you know, you do your due diligence. It doesn't take a lot. God, man. What she did to Clayton Eckert, though, was awful. I mean, she did lasting damage. Clayton Eckert puts on a good face. He plays the he plays the
he's
smile
been absolutely
and
damaged. He's been absolutely damaged. His reputation was trashed. He wasn't given any of the same opportunities that other bachelors have been given. He was completely shut out. Nobody wanted to take a chance that they were helping a woman abuser, a domestic violence, you know, perpetrator. Yamaha Biker has a very good point here. He says, this is an example of how a civil case turns criminal. Keep that in mind, LP, bubbles, useless turds, etc. Facts is right. That's facts. That's exactly how a civil case can turn criminal right here.
They've done enough. Honestly, the Hales case should have turned criminal already. There should have been enough in this that they should have had some real issues. But justices, especially Levy County, come on. If we were outside Levy County, I believe that they would have had some issues. It shows you the myth of Florida, though. The myth of Florida law is just that. You know, man, go to these places, go to these, I live in a conservative state too. And it destroys that myth. Do anything for you. None of them do.
All right. The chat is demanding snake chorus in honor of David Gingras having the worst night of his life.
It was wrong. David, you suck.
You suck.
Tramp stamp lawyer. That's beautiful.
Oh, we may have to play Tramp Stamp Lawyer later.
I cannot believe like that trended and everything. That was weird and funny.
Good times, man. Good times.
Well, it just shows you like all this stuff you can have fun with.
We had so much fun. We had so much fun with this. With that.
Well, we've had fun on this. It's so awful what happens to these people out there, but it's good that so many people are willing to come together and look at this stuff and be like, yeah, that's messed up.
My phone is blowing up. Lauren Knighty is texting me. She's like, I'm live right now, but I'm just sitting here texting and cackling. And really, the reason we're so giddy about it is because that case was every bit as terrible as this one, with the constant threats and the stress
because
and the anxiety.
It doesn't happen. Like you don't get justice for this kind of stuff. I hate to say it, but it just never happens.
I do want to say to the chat, those of you who took the time when we did a letter writing campaign to Rachel Mitchell's office, congratulations, you did this. You let her know, a public official, that there was public support behind a prosecution of this woman. And without you doing that, and she even mentioned it, she mentioned how many letters they got. I had a dream that it would be like Miracle on 34th Street when they bring those bags of letters into the courtroom and they dump them on the judge's desk. I wanted that to be Rachel Mitchell's desk. And those letters came from all around the world. You sent them from England, you sent them from Scotland, you sent them from Florida, and you sent them from every state in this nation. And that it made a difference. It made a difference. I'm telling you, it did.
It's just amazing. It is. What it says here is just crazy, period. I mean, wow.
A lot of you in the chat are saying, I wrote a letter. I wrote one too. Yes, I remember we did this together.
Yeah, there were a lot of people that did. Yeah, and then was big. It had to happen that way. There had to be pressure exerted because they want to ignore this kind of stuff. Really, prosecutors only want fat, juicy headlines. They want the steak, and you got to convince them this is the steak.
Mm-hmm.
On top of it, again, though, she really messed up. Actually, I'll take that back. Gingy really messed up.
He really messed up.
Yeah,
he should
decided
never have gone after that judge.
Why would you do that? Go after the judge's family. Be like, Daddy, look, I'm a real lawyer.
Look at me, Daddy. I'm a real lawyer now. I'm a real judge now.
Yeah, judge. My bad. I said lawyer.
Whatever. Judge.
Yeah,
lawyer.
whatever. I mean, Jesus. But it's amazing. Like when we look at Bruce and some of the shit he's done, like again, we compare these two back and forth, as who's the worst. And sometimes it's hard to tell, but
it is hard to tell, but it's great that we got one down, one to go. Like this is why we do this. This is why I get up in the morning.
Bruce is next.
This is why we do this. This is why we get up in the morning. Sometimes this is what happens when you keep pounding it, right?
Well, it also
you keep
gets the
hammering it.
You know, you need a win sometimes because there was a win in the Clayton Eckerd story. When you go through all the appeals and everything else, you still know how that's going to fall. I mean, there was no chance in hell they were going to win that. We said that from the beginning. I stood by that. I was like, I'm not even going to cover his bullshit because who cares? You know, this guy, he's trash. He's just trying to push it through there. If he tried to sue somebody or something else, definitely would have picked up. But I mean, for all intents and purposes, he was just delaying. The thing that was important, though, was having some kind of consequence. I mean, sure, they may have had a decision against them in the courtroom, you know, where you're talking about a huge monetary penalty. But this is next level. I mean, we're talking about a lady that went out, faked pregnancy, but looks like she did this. Who knows how many times? You know, we have
at least 3 times that we know of.
Yeah, and God knows, like, who knows more? Who knows what else? If a person becomes that conditioned in lying, I have worked in mental health. I have worked with people that lie like breathing. You know, you see them like set across from you. It becomes so habitual that they lie about everything. And when you combine that with a personality with her, where she's obviously, you know, you can look at the type of personality disorder that this woman is. She's a walking personality disorder.
Yes.
I mean,
it's incredible. This is a huge day, you guys. This is huge. Absolutely huge. I can't wait to write about this for PJ Media. I will break my silence that I have not written in a long time,
well,
and this is it.
This is one of the stories, you know, you were all over too. So
oh my
with
God.
PJ Media, they should be thanking you for that because you know you called another one right there. I mean, that case just had so much. Yeah, I've been texting people too. I'm like, yo, what's up?
I know my phone is going wild right now. It's like, it's just insane. And Dave's the only one who's
You want to see the
hasn't
document
responded.
on that?
Did I hear somebody in the chat say today is Dave's son's birthday, Augie's birthday?
Is it
It really? If
Holy
it
shit,
is,
has it been that long?
yeah, I think he is a year old.
Oh my God, has it really been that long?
Yeah, it has been. Like, I'm telling you, we've been in this for a long freaking
Holy shit.
time.
Well, that's what with the whole case with what the hales. Like, I'm shocked by how long that we've been covering this case. Sometimes it feels like it sometimes, and sometimes it doesn't because things just keep happening. You know, like the Laura Owens case felt like it when they were appealing and stuff. It's like, oh my God, this is going to go on forever. You know what I mean? Here we are. You want to see the paperwork for the Laura Owens counts?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've got it in front of me. Give me 1 minute. I'm pulling it. I'm just making sure. Just give me 1 second. Make sure there's no more. There's a big thing of phone numbers at the top, you know, which are, again, they're all the courthouse stuff. So I'm gonna roll down it a little bit. I'm not just gonna redact those. I'm gonna pull it up here. So here's the thing itself. Yeah. What? John, what's up? No, I was looking at John. What's up, John? Everybody loves you, John. I'm glad to see you, brother.
I didn't see this one yet. This is like the actual
this is the document, baby.
Where did you find this?
Somebody sent it to me.
Oh my God.
It's probably in your mail too.
It's probably in my inbox. I don't have my email box open right now.
Let me see. Just give me a second.
My God.
If you want credit for that, take credit. By the way, I don't know. Let me see. Let me ask her. Do you want me to credit you sending this?
Love you.
I'm just going to ask. I'm mailing you back.
Brad had the one sheeter that's on Twitter. I have not seen this one though.
Well, this is the dock itself. Ooh, baby. So
baby,
this is
great.
State of Arizona versus Laura Michelle Owens.
Oh
And
my
look
God.
at that there.
Look at this.
So it's class one. It's count one, fraudulent schemes and artifices. It's a class 2 felony. Count 2, forgery. Wow.
Oh boy.
And the rest of them, the other 4 are all perjury hits.
Woo boy.
Man, that is that's some shake and bake, baby.
And 7. There's count 7.
Tampering with
evidence.
Ooh, baby.
I told her when she did it, you're tampering with evidence. I said that.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
That's nuts. So man, this is so crazy.
Oh,
I'm going to read a page and you read a page.
All right.
To,
All right. Yeah.
The grand jurors of Maricopa County, Arizona, accused Laura Michelle Owens on May 1st, 2025. So this just happened in the last few days. Like right after that decision rolled in, they were like, all right, we're doing you. Charging that in Maricopa County, Arizona. Number 1, count 1. Laura Michelle Owens on or between May 17th, 2023 and June 10th, 2024. Man, that was right after my birthday. That's crazy. We are rolling up on years of that when we were kicked off like that. Pursuant to scheme, artifice to defraud, knowingly did obtain a benefit from Clayton Eckerd by means of fraudulent pretenses, representation, promises, material omissions in violation of, and they give the statute. Count 2. Laura Michelle Owens, again, same date range there, with the intent to defraud, did falsely make, complete, or alter a written instruction to wit, sonogram. There's the sonogram problem for her. We kept saying that's going to be a real problem. That's an issue, you know? And Gingy wanted to pretend that also was no problem. It's just so nuts, man. I can't get over this. Laura Michelle Owens on
she
or
hired
about
Fiverr. She hired Fiverr. It's just going through my head now.
God.
She hired Fiverr.
I mean, I can't believe that an indictment came in. This stuff doesn't happen. Oh my God. Okay, so on or about October 25th, 2023, in regard to the material issue and believing it to be false, did make a false sworn statement, to wit, testifying in front of the judge of duty, Mr. Duty. What a name, Duty.
Yeah, Duty. He's the one, by the way, Judge Duty was the one who was looking sideways at the computer and also didn't know that YouTube has dates on them on upload
What a
dates.
jackass, though. I mean, but
That
he
guy
shows you
should
the
never
problem.
be on the. He should be off the bench.
Because he was just like, hey, I'll take your word for it. That right there, that is not justice. That is not law. That is not what's supposed to happen. He's supposed to look at evidence, but even when he was showcased evidence, he didn't know what he was looking at. You know, that guy, I mean, the problem with this too is people are like, well, you know, sometimes there's a mistake there. They fuck up people's lives with those mistakes. And it really caused Clayton Eckerd some damage. You know, he had a lot of digging to get out of that hole. So in regard to a material issue, believing it to be false, did make a false sworn statement, to it, testifying in front again, Judge Duty, that she had not been intimate with anyone else since March 2022 in violation of.
All right, in violation.
That's an interesting one. Yeah, that's
ARS,
kinda,
whatever.
Yeah, blah blah blah. But it's kind of interesting. That's what they hit her for. You know, that she had not been intimate with anyone else
since March.
That's kind of if anything they hit her with a lie. I didn't expect that one to be.
Well, wait a minute. Did they mention the fake sonogram that she used that day?
They mentioned the sonogram as count 2. You know,
in
but
front
they
of
didn't
Judge
mention
Duty,
it.
though?
No, they just mentioned it, period, you know, within
because she also made
range.
another false statement in front of Judge Duty. They could always add charges. Don't worry, folks. She made another false statement in front of Judge Judy, though, that
Well,
she showed him a picture that she said,
I'm
"This is
thinking
our
so.
son."
Yes, yes. Maybe they, because he said between these two dates here, talking about the sonogram, because the sonogram comes up again here on
Okay,
March
so
1st.
this one is Laura Michelle Owens on or about March 1st in regard to a maternal issue and believing it to be false, did make false sworn statements, to wit, claiming that sonogram image was hers during sworn deposition and but March 1st, was that the same date that she was with Duty? Go back up to the Duty thing. Scroll back up.
Yeah, I'm going.
March 1st. No, that was October.
Yeah, in October. Yeah,
So they
that's
could add the other one in front of Duty in October, because she absolutely presented a false sonogram at that hearing. She did. And then count 5, on or about March 1st in regard to a maternal issue and believing it to be false, did make a false sworn statement, to wit, video clip of father touching pregnant belly in violation of, the video clip. Interesting. So they must have evidence that that is not her in the video, or they wouldn't use that.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
That's wild.
Count 6. Laura, we believe it was her sister. Laura Michelle Owens on or about June 10th in regard to a maternal issue or material. Sorry, that doesn't say maternal. It says material issue. And believing it to be false, did make a false sworn statement, to wit, claiming that's me showing my pregnant stomach. Yep. Count 7. Laura Michelle Owens on or about June 10th with intent that it be used, introduced, rejected, or made unavailable in an official proceeding which was then pending, or which Laura Michelle Owens knew was about to be instituted, did destroy, mutilate, alter, conceal, or remove physical evidence, to wit, exhibits A through 6 and A through 7, used during the June 10th hearing with intent to impair its verity or availability. I wonder what that is. What was the destruction of evidence?
I don't know.
Are there exhibits with this, or do we don't get exhibits?
That's it. Yeah, this is just an indictment rolling out, you know.
All right, I got to ask Lauren if she knows what the... Oh, Dave's texting me. Finally.
Oh my God.
He's at a baseball game. He's at a baseball game.
He's going to have something fun to cover. Tell him tomorrow's going to be rocking.
Oh my God. I'm just texting back 7 felonies, bro. 7 felonies.
Yeah. I mean, it's nuts.
Oh, it's amazing.
I just can't believe, like I said, that they actually indicted her.
Well, the other day, to be fair, okay, so we were kind of like joking about it, like, oh yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. But we did get a video of Rachel Mitchell. I can't remember who sent this to us. Who sent it to us, Tug? You were on there too. It was like a group DM. And it was Rachel Mitchell. And it was a clip of her. Somebody, like a reporter, asked her, "What's the status of Laura Owens?" This was only last week.
Yeah.
And she said, "All I can tell you is stay tuned."
Yeah.
And we were like,
yeah,
we don't, we'll believe it when we see it, right? This is like maybe the first time that somebody said something cryptic like that, and then it ended up being real. Oh,
I just can't believe they freaking indicted her with this.
I can't either.
I mean, she was, when I say that, I want to be very clear. We 100% knew that she did this, but getting law enforcement
deserved it for sure.
But law enforcement just doesn't care. Again, I'll climb back on my soapbox and say male victims don't typically matter in this stuff either. Usually some tears from somebody like Laura Owens and she's good to go. They started Gingrey he even made this statement of, well, even if, he had already come out and posted something about that, they were, the defense, they're going to go with her mental health, That's what they'll go with. And I'm not saying that she does not have mental illness, but she does understand right from wrong. She definitely does. She is double, quadruple. I mean, she just continued to go and say, I don't care. How many people has she done this to? I mean, we wouldn't care if
So-
this were. Go ahead.
Bianca Bono, who is the local reporter who's covered this case, she's the one who asked Rachel Mitchell last week. This was
that
May.
did
Sorry,
no.
this week. Well, yeah, last week, May 1st.
Stay tuned.
Check it
I'm
out.
at the point, I mean, we are still actively investigating it. What I will simply say is stay tuned. I'm at the
We got
Stay
this, and I
tuned.
was like, eh. But oh my God, you know, if you look at the end here, watch her eyebrows go up. Watch, she's smiling
stay
a little.
tuned. I'm at the point.
Did you
I
see
mean,
it?
what I will simply
That is
say
so
is
funny.
stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Well, I hope that they've crossed all their T's and dotted all their I's and they can make it stick. Now, there's plenty of evidence, believe me. Although I would tell you, I'm not entirely thrilled with the way the indictment is written because I think there are much stronger. But then again,
I think the sonogram's
initial-
a good one. Like
the
that.
sonogram's a good one, but there are
Mhm.
much stronger. There's much stronger evidence against her for lying to the court for perjury than saying she wasn't with anybody since March 22. She must have had 5 or 6 different lies that she told to Judge Judy that we could prove.
Dude, you could go through that whole Planned Parenthood. They didn't. There's nothing about Planned Parenthood or any of that. You know, that
Right.
stuff is easily proven.
How come they didn't include that she lied to a court, misrepresented to a court, that she went to Planned Parenthood for a sonogram and they don't even do those?
Well, what's truly egregious about this is that she utilized a protective order. You know, again, we hear people lying about this with the What the Hales saga. While this has happened to Hales in a different way, they removed his free speech. And that's what happened with freaking Clayton Echard too. When she felt that she was getting boxed in a little bit, you know, he was like, ha ha, you know, these things, they clearly show I'm not the father. This isn't real. Like when he went that direction, the court duty taking quote unquote, I'll take your word for it. That guy shut him the fuck down.
He did. And Clayton tried to tell Judge Judy, he was like, look, I can show you that this sonogram is fake. Here it is from 6 years ago. Do you see the date on here? And he's like, well, I don't know how YouTube works. And maybe this was uploaded, you know, maybe they took it from her. And he was like, what? No.
It doesn't matter. Like what he did there, Clayton Echard posted about something that is happening to him. He's being drugged through court and he shut him down and would not let him speak, period.
Yeah, no, he
Like,
wouldn't.
that right there is a huge First Amendment issue. Judge Judy should face some kind of, he won't, of course. He won't face anything for it. This will just be like a oopsie, you know, my bad. And nothing will, actually, you won't even get a my bad. Nothing will happen with it whatsoever. But it should, because in addition to getting it wrong, in addition to not being correct about how it should have played in the law and him not looking at things correctly and more, he made the wrong decision when it comes to First Amendment protections. Clayton Echard should have 100% been able to talk about that stuff. There was no proof either that the post that was put up, that whole, well, he had to put that picture up mocking and deriding her. He was the only one that had access. That was a bunch of bullshit. When all that stuff came, that should also be brought up there too, to be honest. That's another one. You know, the pregnancy, you know, the, I can't remember the account, the anonymous one though.
Oh.
You know, that put up the pregnancy scare, the Halloween costume picture.
Oh, right. Well, that's where she did the biggest perjury.
Mhm.
Was with
Yeah.
that Halloween thing where she said that was the sonogram that Halloween costume was holding was her son. That was not her son. That was a fake sonogram that she either got from her sister or somebody else, but it wasn't hers. And I'm surprised that wasn't added in there.
I'm actually, out of all that, I'm glad to have met Dave Neal. I think that was good because Dave Neal is pretty freaking passionate about going after this stuff.
Guys,
he's
we
a
read the whole
believer.
thing. We read
That
the
was
whole
it.
thing. Norma says we missed the last sentence. I don't think we did.
Last sentence. Is there a footnote or something? No.
I don't know. I didn't see one.
No. There's not a no. We cut off. Here, I'll pull it back up. I've got
We
it.
read the last sentence.
I'll show you. It's all there. You know, because count 7 is where it ends.
Yeah.
I'll pull it up in front of you though again, folks. I'll just show you. See, this is the count 7, and then I just cut off. There's the signature page. But you can see it over here. There's nothing on it. You know, I usually don't go all the way through because oftentimes you'll get addresses
or something.
You know?
Right.
Yeah.
There's
so I don't
nothing
typically
else.
pull that. You know?
There's nothing else. We read the whole
But,
thing.
I mean, that could be where I stop there. I mean, that's probably where the confusion comes from. It's good. I appreciate you folks. I have done that before. I've cut off before and left a footnote or something out. So I do appreciate you all saying that. Like especially if I get excited, sometimes I'll leave it out. I'm going to redact this document while we're talking real quick in case I need to pull it up again.
I'm creating a new folder in my Laura Owens case file. It's called Indictment.
That is so funny, though.
Holy crap. I can't believe it.
He should face action for the bullshit.
I get to add an indictment in my indictment file.
Don't you think?
MG Law, by the way, MG, here is the link. I'm going to send it to you on Twitter so you can download. MG wants to read this later on stream, so I'm sending it to him. I'll send it to you on Twitter, MG.
Hey, props MG too. I saw you in the chat the other day in one of the streams, and he was like, "What's up?" And I ghosted him like an asshole. So.
MG's a good dude, and
no,
this is incredible.
Yeah, I had kids jumping on me, so I was like, oh, well, I can't type. God damn, it's when I might type when the kids jumping on me. No, that's big news though. I mean, that's all right. Give me a second. I gotta pull back up my list of time stamps for Travis. I got so off in the weeds there, man.
Oh well, we had to. That was big news.
No, I mean, my mind's off in the weeds. Is what I mean. Yeah. I'm trying to reel my thoughts in some more because there was one other thing that I wanted to pull in for all of that. Let's see. I think it's at 125. Did you listen beyond all of that? Did you listen to that whole
I did
Travis?
not. I did not listen to the entire thing. I was kind of skipping around trying to find.
Well, there's a thing that happens in here. One other part that's crazy. So I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if we can hear it really well, but around 125.24. So it's going to come up. I'm just going to let it play in its natural progression.
Squat down and yell that through the fence at me. I'll do this. Every time they yell it, I'll give a toot back.
Can you hear that?
He's trying to attract a child.
He's trying to attract a child.
Oh,
yes.
Give me a break.
So yet another time, though, that they are accusing somebody else of being some type of predator. Yet again, they have accused. That's how again, Travis, he has quite the case against these weirdos too, if he ever wants it. Because they've gone out and they've said some pretty horrible shit about him.
It's awful. I don't know how, again, though, how do you cry and whine that you want privacy and you build a privacy fence and then you're shouting under it and over it at people or like he said, like coming to the fence and staring at him through it and attracting attention.
Well, they've harmed
I'm sorry,
his
but
business
it
too.
rings very hollow. You're like on a worldwide privacy tour. It is South Park.
His business has been harmed too. I mean, heavily by these people because let's just be real. Like people going to Tube Town. I mean, you hear these people and how they act. You know, would people feel safe? I mean, I'm wondering about other people out there. Do you all feel safe? You know, if you went over there?
I would never be there. I would never go to Tubetown. I don't know how they feel safe sitting over there. I feel like, you're more likely to get shot by John Cook than anything else over there. I wouldn't go sit there. I wouldn't feel safe there. They're clearly not leaving him alone. He's sitting there being quiet, doing a live stream. He's not shouting. He's not drawing attention to himself. He's just hanging out on the property. And they're doing all of this crazy crap. Yeah, no. Stupid.
It's so nuts, though. I'm going to play that one more time. I saw John back, I was telling him, hey. So, let's see. Let me see if the closed captioning catches anything. I haven't even tried that. I'm going to extract this part here.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, I didn't know. What I'm going to do is, I'll have to go through for the horn and stuff, because if you amplify, that's one of the reasons I didn't amplify this. Just pull it and amplify the sound, because I'll have to go through and reduce the horn.
Yeah, the horn will kill your ears.
Yes. So here is where that happens.
Every time they yell it, I'll give a toot back.
Yeah, he says, Harley,
ignore that. He's trying to attract a child.
Yeah. That's so gross, man. It shows you, though, that they weaponize this kid, but at the same time, they've been utilizing this kid for, everything. And I believe he says this yet again through here. A minute.
Oh boy.
See, there he goes.
That's what they do. They try to attract children. I heard that loud and clear.
So yet another claim. Another one. Yeah, K-Rab. Hey, by the way, K-Rab popped in and was like, hey, I don't know if you heard that. Oh, yes, buddy. we definitely hit that one. It was not on the agenda that we noted, because it just popped in, but we did. And thank you all again. You folks are the reason we know about it. Because while we're live, people started blowing our messages and everything else up, which again is appreciated. Anytime something comes up, I appreciate people telling us about it.
Oh yeah.
Give me a second. Let me make sure.
Especially when it's something like this. Oh God, I've got messages in Twitter about this Laura Owens thing. People are like, why am I crying? I'm like, I got teary too. This is a long time coming. You don't even realize how much stress, and worry and whatever that's gone on until it's over.
Imagine being Eckerd. Imagine being him. When you feel this level of investment, because you want to see justice. I mean, we're just outside participants. Imagine if it were happening there. You were right in the middle of it. Oh my God, you were the person it's aimed at. Because there was a hot minute there where, I mean, it was dicey, in the very beginning. And she did go after Dave Neal. She went after him hardcore. She shut down. She tried to silence him as well.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And the idea that, see, this indictment means she can never sue anybody.
Yep.
For anything.
She's done, baby.
She's done.
She lied.
Yep. She lied, and we said she lied, and you can't sue us for saying you lied when you just got indicted for lying. Yeah.
And freaking Gingras. Again, he spent so much time. He was brought in, like we had said, to do damage control on a massive level. He was supposed to come in and intimidate people and more. It worked a lot of people. These people do work. Some people walk away.
That's right. People do walk away. They do, because they don't have time or the bandwidth, or frankly, it takes a lot to put up with the constant threats of lawsuits. It takes a lot. There are people who are like, I don't need this shit in my life. I'll go tell a different story. There's a million stories out there. I don't need to tell this one.
Oh my God. I'm going to do something. I've got to do something. I'm going to do it live. Check this out. Just give me a second. This is going to be funny. Okay. So I was looking through Gingrich. He probably will block me after this, but I don't care. You want to see something entertaining? Okay, just give me a second. I can get my screenshot I need. Okay, here we go. Where'd it go? You know, he likes posting and being a jackass to people. All right, there it is. Perfect one. So he decided he was going to be an ass about just random stuff, right? You know, he's always doing this. Let me make sure this pastes in here too. Okay, check this out. I'll show you. So here's David. He's decided that he's going to get. This is the one I thought it would fit the best with. Somebody was like, the Bible repeatedly confirms itself to be the word of God. And he posed like proof that God exists, proof that Spider-Man exists. And I'm going to be like proof that justice exists.
Do it.
I'm going to do it right now. Proof.
Oh my God, I laughed so hard I choked.
Oh my God. Bam.
Oh. Oh, that's perfect.
Oh my God.
And you know what? It doesn't even matter after this. It doesn't even matter if like she cuts a deal. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's over. She's been indicted. There's no taking that back. There's no taking that back.
Oh,
she's been indicted. 7 felonies. Oh my God. This is so huge. I'm sorry. I can't think about or talk about anything else. It's so huge.
Well, any topic sits. It doesn't matter. Like for right now, again, I noted we got some discussion in with BBB. One of the things that I do want to hit, and like I said, it can sit. We'll either hit it tomorrow, we hit it whenever. I did go through the April the 3rd hearing. You know, I finally went and checked that out. And it's really fascinating because the ecosystem, they did run a fundraiser to go through that, right? But the thing that they did not want to cover is the fact that, first of all, the document's not as bad as I thought it would be. And I thought it would be meaner. You know what I'm saying? I thought the judge would be the judge is definitely firm in it, but like I said, not as bad. But what they didn't cover is the fact that there are pages that are dedicated to Bruce and him not being there. So I thought that was interesting because the first pages through there, the first 3 pages. Huh?
Did you go over those already when I was not here?
No, I haven't done it yet. No, that's what I'm saying.
Oh,
like
are we gonna read them now? I would love to see that.
Yeah, we can go through. Let me.
I promise I won't derail you with Laura Owens anymore. I'm trying to.
We'll go through just the first few pages of that, and then, like I said, I'll probably loop back on it's 46 pages. That's what I mean. So I want people to understand the whole hearing, you know, but we're definitely not going over the whole damn thing today. We're going to look at, like I said, I wanted to include the parts that Bruce, I guess, doesn't want covered, you know, and what was really
because
funny
you said they skipped over I didn't hear them because I don't listen to their shows. But they skipped over the part that was all about Bruce, interestingly.
Of course they would, you know. They're not going to sit there and talk about how Bruce got in trouble. I'm sure, like I firmly believe all the antics that we're seeing today, I think that's all about diversion too. I think that they're trying to give a new topic. That way on 2Ls, they're going to have a new topic talking about how Travis somehow was harassing. But you know what they won't talk about? Pro bono. They will not discuss it. It's always like that. There's always something to gaslight that audience and keep the money flowing. They've got to have something new. So they're yelling about, they're falsely accusing Travis of terrible shit. All right. So this is again a document that's been posted. You know, it's really funny. This wonderful copy. They didn't want anybody else having a hold of it outside of that. But the 2 losers that they gave it to, Yeah. Fat Stacks and man, I wouldn't want him to touch me with a 10-foot pole. Yeah. Those two losers, they ended up posting it. So bravo. I'm glad they fundraised it.
Yeah, me
The
too.
ecosystem paid for this.
The ecosystem paid for this content you're seeing right here tonight, folks.
Thank you, Ecos.
Thank you,
It's so funny.
What the Hales Media ecosystem, for funding something. At least they funded something worthwhile. That fence wasn't so worthwhile, but this is worthwhile. I can't wait to read this.
I love it. So the court comes in, and they're pretty. I guess straight to the fact too. It feels.
Who gets to read the judge?
Do you want to read the judge?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Okay. Well, you be the judge then.
Okay. Thank you. You may be seated. Well, good afternoon, everyone. We're on the record now in the matter of Hales versus Preston and Cook, case number blah blah. Counsel, please make your appearance.
May it please the court, Randall Shockett of little Jeremy Hales.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Judge.
So the case is on the docket here today for several reasons. First, there's a pending motion for sanctions filed by the plaintiff, which was docket number 96. And in that motion, the plaintiff sought, among other things, revocation of Mr. Manskin, defense counsel's pro hoc vice status in this case. And secondly, and relatedly, the court issued a show cause order, which is docket number 98, requiring Mr. Manskin to show cause today as to why his pro hoc vice status should not be revoked. And then, third, March 27th, in docket number 118, the court ordered counsel for both parties to be prepared today to address whether sanctions should be imposed for their repeated abuse of the judicial process, filing of frivolous motions, and overall unprofessionalism. And the court's order, I specifically referred counsel to 4 motions. First was defendant's motion for reconsideration, which is docket 78. Second was defendant's motion, docket 82. Third, plaintiff's motion, number 85. And fourth, plaintiff's motion, number 86. Obviously, Mr. Manskin is not present here today. This hearing was noticed on March 14th of 2025, and Mr. Manskin was clearly aware of his obligations to be here today.
You notice the call out, it's like, here's why we're here today. By the way, look who's not here, and he knows he's supposed to be here.
He knows he's supposed to be here. Yesterday, he filed a notice informing the court that he did not plan to attend this hearing. The court issued an order yesterday afternoon stating that the hearing would go forward and refusing to excuse Mr. Manskin's attendance at the hearing. He was required to be here today and obviously is not. Mr. Shockett, you may not be aware of this because it just happened, but shortly before I took the bench, I received a notice, a motion to withdraw as counsel from Mr. Manskin, which is docket number 126, where he seeks leave to withdraw from his representation of the defendants in this case. But pursuant to local rule number 11.1, an attorney who has entered an appearance in a case must have leave of court to withdraw, and the court must grant that. So the court has obviously not granted that motion to withdraw. And so Mr. Manskin still remains counsel in this case at this time and has no excuse for not being here today. But that willful failure to appear by Mr. Manskin is not going to prevent us from going forward here today, at least in part. Oh, those are scary words to hear from the judge. Damn. The hearing was scheduled for a number of reasons, as I mentioned, and one of those was to allow counsel, including Mr. Manskin, to show cause as to why sanctions should not be imposed, including Mr. Manskin's case, the possible revocation of his pro hoc vice status. And this hearing was designed as an opportunity to provide him with the ability to be heard with respect to those issues. And just to be clear, the purpose of the hearing is for the court to decide what action it is going to take. The court
You can tell, like, the judge is not happy.
He's not
He
happy.
is fucking not happy. That
He's
fucking
not
Bruce
happy.
See, this goes with what I was saying, though. He picked out 4 items. What he was going to do is to say, here's 2 things that you're going to get sanctioned. In my opinion, let's be frank about this. My opinion, he'd already decided what he was going to do. It didn't matter what the fuck they said. He was going to sanction them both for 2 items each, and then Bruce, he might have hit with something else, but he would have allowed him to stay on the case, and he wasn't going to throw him in jail. That's the way I think it was going to play.
Yep, I think so too.
Yeah.
But he just had to test it. The court,
Yep.
the court had not decided what action it was going to take, and that's why the hearing was here, is for the court to provide the parties with their opportunity to be heard. The law requires notice and an opportunity to be heard before the court takes action, and today was scheduled as the notice and opportunity to be heard. Or sorry, I previously provided the notice, and today was the opportunity to be heard. And given Mr. Manskin's absence, I can't hear from him regarding whether sanctions should be imposed against him or whether his pro hoc vice status should be revoked. I will separately address in a written order the issue of sanctions against Mr. Manskin and the issue of his pro hoc vice status.
And he dedicated 3 entire pages to being like, I mean, that whole chat at the beginning there was about Bruce. So that's what they wouldn't want to tell you. Anything that comes up in this, the fire that was there, actually, to be honest, I wonder if it pissed him off and he was harder on Randy.
I think Randy said he said that later in the hearing, that like, I realized that you're getting the brunt of this because the other guy isn't here. Did they just skip right to this part? Is this where they started to read from? Like right to where?
Yeah, they just jumped around is what it was. They jumped around to try to find the part that would make Randy, look like he's getting worked over. And of course, the judge brought them both in. He was going to work them both over.
He's not going to waste his time. They're there. Shockett's there, and he has issues he wants to talk about. Okay, fine. And since Mr. Shockett is here, I'll turn to you, Mr. Shockett, and we'll talk about the issues that I identified or asked you to be prepared to discuss with respect to 85 and 86. So if you want to come to the podium, please, Mr. Shockett, we'll talk through those issues.
The podium?
Yes.
Okay, sure.
So, Mr. Shockett, I noticed dockets 85 and 86, which were motions to dismiss counterclaims. And I've ordered you to show cause as to why sanctions shouldn't be imposed on Rule 11 for the filing of those motions. So I'll allow you to provide to me why you think a sanction shouldn't be imposed. But I've got questions. And so
okay,
I'm going to ask you my questions, and then your answers to my questions may cover what it is that you are wanting to say. And if it doesn't, I'm going to give you that opportunity, okay?
Thank you, Judge. Sure.
Okay. So the problem that I have with those motions from a Rule 11 perspective is those motions were filed by the plaintiff, Jeremy Hales, who is a party to this action, but yet the motion claims to seek dismissal of counterclaims against you, plaintiff's counsel. Nods head.
Nods head.
Staying silent.
Yes, that is the smart move. See, that's what I was looking for with like Bruce. If he would have gone, he would not have kept his fucking mouth shut. The judge, he's going to have his ire. You get to answer. You be succinct about it. You don't argue with the guy. Bruce, he would have had a big ass mouth.
I love this. Nods head.
Yep.
The motion doesn't cite any case law. The motion has a couple of stray cites to some jurisdictional statutes and one cite to Rule 13 of the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure. It contains virtually no analysis and doesn't direct me to any authority to support the request that you've made. But more fundamentally, and this is really the question I want to ask, is what basis did you have to believe that Mr. Hales is the plaintiff, could somehow seek dismissal of a counterclaim that you believe somehow had been brought against you, who is not a party to the action?
Thanks, Judge. So we look at it. I don't have it with me, but I know the counterclaims very well. There was no statement of the parties. There was no jurisdictional statement. There were allegations in the complaint. That's the only one left now, and that was the same. That's the same one that is still active.
Uh-huh.
Something about me and my client conspiring. This is under intentional infliction of emotional distress.
Correct. It's count 1 of the counterclaim.
So there are allegations against me, and I'm conspiring with my client to do something, and it's a tort, which involves outrageousness. You know what a tort is. And there's a second paragraph allegation against me. And so I'm being alleged things. There wasn't even an addendum clause.
Well, so even if that's right, how can Mr. Hales move to dismiss a counter if you believed that?
Right.
How can Mr. Hales, through you, his attorney, move to dismiss a counterclaim brought against another person?
Because it's a jurisdictional issue.
Uh-huh.
Because now
He's not being convinced.
He's like, basically it's like talking to a wall, I imagine, you know, because now there's no jurisdictional statement that would have clarified it. Statement to the parties, the addendum clause, which would have, I'm suing Jeremy Hales for X number of dollars. There's no addendum.
Did you receive, was there any motion filed under Rule 13H to add an additional party, which is what's required when you're going to add an additional party by virtue of a counterclaim?
There was no motion.
Okay.
On that.
Okay. Were you served with a summons in this case?
I was not.
Okay. And isn't it well established that if you want to name an additional party in a case as a counterclaim party, that you have to serve that party?
You would think. I like that answer. You would think.
Right. That's a good answer.
Yeah,
that's a good answer.
Exactly. I like
you
that.
Think.
You know, but with Bruce and the stupid,
who the hell
really
knows?
Honestly, on top of that, you can't, like, he makes this point. I have to answer when something's filed. And that is the best answer out there. You can't let stuff just hang in the breeze. So it's like, I don't know if a summons was coming, but you would think.
But so none of those things had happened. And I'll be honest, when I got your motion because of the way this case has been litigated, I just shook my head as here we go again.
I know.
Because I read the counterclaim.
Site. It keeps rolling backwards. Like it's the
right.
ads on this site. That's why
I read the answer and the counterclaim when it was filed. I didn't see a counterclaim against you. Nods head. You filed a motion. You filed several motions previous to that, which were, I think, motions for summary judgment, which I said should not have been filed. Those motions were on behalf of Mr. Hales, and they were aimed at those counterclaims. And then very soon after I strike those, you file this motion. And as I said, I looked at it and I looked at what is he doing? There's no counterclaim against him. Then Mr. Manskin responds and says, I didn't bring a counterclaim against him. So from a Rule 11 perspective, what was the legal or factual basis for you to believe that a counterclaim had actually been asserted against you, that you could move to dismiss that counterclaim?
Okay, Judge, I just said it. You had allegations against someone that's not in the case.
Okay.
And so why is that appropriate? Why are there allegations against?
Maybe it's not appropriate.
Okay, what the fuck, man? That's me saying okay, by the way, not him. He's like, maybe it's not okay. Well, right there. That's how this goes. It's a game of rules.
Maybe and the judge is like, well, maybe it's not appropriate. Okay. Like,
yeah.
and maybe you file some other type of motion, but you can't. A motion to dismiss a counterclaim presumes there's a counterclaim. But okay, wait, stop.
There is a counterclaim.
Hold on. Alex is in the chat. Alex is my cousin, not my sister. Alex, if you want the Laura Owens stuff, back up. Go to the breaking news music, and then you'll hear it. Here's the thing. Even the judge is like, well, you could have filed something else, another type of motion. Well, what? Then tell me.
Yeah, what should I have done? But I mean, the judge does this. This is a frustrating conversation here because the judge had decided that he was going to hit them both for something, and he picked these two filings out right here. And when you hear the argument for it, again, the judge is like maybe it is a problem. Yeah, you really do need to file, but well, do something else. Well, what do I do? Well, you know,
What do I do? Yeah, and he's like, well, what do I do? Well, I don't know. File a different kind of motion. But so the judge's whole hang up here is that it's a motion to dismiss
Mhm.
isn't going to work. Like it's not going to work in this instance, right? And I understand why. I understand his argument why, right? Because he hasn't been served. He's not an actual party to the case, but he's not really telling him how you could have fixed this.
You can't assume that a judge is going to get this right. This judge is essentially saying, I would have gotten this decision right.
Right. Yeah.
And
so
no way. Like that is terrible.
But this right here, though, is a good explanation as to why the motion to dismiss was the wrong thing to file. But I think, frankly, it was in good faith. I don't think you should be sanctioned for making a good faith effort
You're
to
not
file
supposed
something
to be.
to dismiss. You know, you're only supposed to be sanctioned for things that are done in bad faith. And I think even the judge here is confused. So how is Randy supposed to not be confused? So the judge says the only way you can bring a counterclaim to add an additional party is file a motion to add an additional party, serve that additional party. That person is then added to the docket. Then that person files a motion to dismiss.
I understand, Judge, but
So the problem here, and this is why I'm so frustrated with this case.
I see your frustration and understand.
You guys don't appear to understand that I have hundreds of cases, and you too consume an inordinate amount of my time and my staff's time. I know your case number by heart, 124CV45, because I have to type orders in that case all the time. And what I see is, and you're as guilty of it as Mr. Manskin is we've got not just one motion to dismiss. We got first all these motions for summary judgment that got filed. Why are we filing a multitude of motions for summary judgment right after a counterclaim is filed when we know we're going to have a summary judgment deadline? I strike all of those.
Can I be heard on
he's
he's
going off.
pissed. Yeah. Can I be heard on that one, Judge?
You can in a minute.
Pissed with
he's
that.
like, not right now. I'm not done.
Ranting, sir.
I'm ranting, sir. I strike all of those. I strike.
Denied. Sit down.
Exactly.
Don't get brazen with me.
I strike all of those. And then right after I strike all of those, here's my next volley of new motions. And then I rule upon those. And here's my next volley of new motions. And I just don't understand what you're trying to accomplish here. If you're trying to pursue a case on behalf of your client to obtain relief for your client, the way you do that is you go to a trial and we have a jury decide the case. If you look at a case that goes to trial where it has lawyers who are doing their jobs for your client, there might be 50 docket entries in that case at most.
Yeah.
I am at 125 and we're not even through discovery. And some of that is Mr. Manskin's fault and some of it is yours. And he's not here and you are.
See,
So
there's the problem.
Here's
right
the
there.
problem. So
Yeah.
just tell me, I'm trying to understand why, but he won't let him talk. Why?
I know.
Or what's the point of filing those motions? What in the hell?
I really want to respond.
I'm going to give you an opportunity.
I really want to respond, please. Maybe he's like, hey, come on, man. I need to be able to talk.
Poor Randy. Oh my God. This is so terrible.
Well, again, and Bruce, brought his anger and frustration to another level by not showing up. Again, he dedicated the entire opening to that guy. Look what he did. And you may not know this, counsel, but this morning, this guy, what he pulled. So while you're here. So, I mean, when they look at it, and again, I understand him standing in front of the judge, taking this lashing would suck. But I don't know. In my mind, I was picturing it much worse than this.
I don't know. To me, this is pretty bad. I wouldn't want to be.
It's uncomfortable. But I mean, I don't know.
He had to face this all by himself.
Yeah.
But
he did a good job, man. He stands high with it.
Yep,
He's basically.
Good job.
I'll tell you what he does in this. What he says is, I got to do this for my client. That's essentially what he's saying. I have to file things on behalf of my client. So if you recall at the beginning of this case, they did that. And I had to respond to summary judgment that was filed systematically.
Yep.
Yep. And so he was trying to say, you don't have evidence. You know the standard for all of this.
I know.
It's a very high standard.
And I denied it.
I know you did, but it was allowed. And
how was it allowed? I denied it. I denied it.
Deny.
you
Sit
denied
down.
after I responded. And this is the truth. He denied after Randy responded. He didn't shoot this down. He didn't say any of this stuff was inappropriate. He let this insanity continue. He
That's true.
continued to file all of these motions.
Which motion are they discussing right now? Which one is the one that got denied? What are they talking about? I missed.
They're
which
talking
one
about
it
the
was.
original denial when he goes for a summary judgment. So they're
Oh, the
talking about
summary
one of the
judgment. Okay.
one of the earliest ones. And it's right. You know, this stuff was inappropriate the way it was set up, but the way that the judge allowed it, he kept filing and filing. So the judge made 2 points in that, in my opinion. Number one, that Randy needed to respond. But number two, and this is important, he was allowing that discussion to take place. If he's allowing Bruce to hammer at any perceived hole in the case, he's allowing him to file these motions. Why is it a problem when Randy files a motion that it suddenly becomes an issue? It wasn't a problem before, and it didn't happen one time. It happened multiple times. Randy finally files something going after the case there, and suddenly the judge is like, nope, can't have that anymore. You guys aren't supposed to do this. Because we talked about it then. It was weird, you know? And like Randy says, it took a few months to deny it.
Okay.
So again, it was, and I think you have said, maybe on the record or off the record, that the chances of something like that being granted are 99%. I think it's percent, million, forget it, against it. But it was done to say you don't have any evidence, and they didn't, and they don't.
But you said, and again, those motions are not specifically here. I didn't notice those as part of what we're going to talk about.
Right.
But I looked at them in preparation for the hearing. And one of the things you say in there is, you know, there are no genuine, of course there are. I sit here and I look at what's alleged in this case. Your client says that they did these things and they say they didn't.
But it's an anti-slap defense.
Okay, and you've got that motion. That's a separate issue of whether or not this case should be decided at summary judgment stage, right?
Okay.
We have a factual dispute. I just don't see any way that summary judgment is going to resolve this case when Mr. Hales said they placed these signs out there. They said these things. They did these things. They say they didn't do those things. That's what we have juries for.
This says much more, by the way, than what is being picked up. The ecosystem wanted this isn't owned, but the judge is saying this shit is going to trial. Right there. This judge just said it. This is what juries are for.
He's saying, I can't decide this. This is a jury question. So why are you writing motions for summary judgment? I'm not giving it to you.
Yeah.
I can't.
I'm making you go to trial. So see, I mean, right there, that's a biggie. You know.
And then this is a great sentence. So it would be in everyone's best interest if we could just get to that point. Trial.
Exactly. Let's get to a trial. So right here, this is what they're not wanting to talk about. They don't want to talk about, and Bruce wanted to bail because he knows a jury is going to look at this stuff. Mm-hmm. And when it gets there, if they're not going to be able to take the stand. Because if they do, I mean, if you have those two take the freaking stand and talk, oh my God, it is game over. But without that, they're doomed because they won't be able to deny anything. So... All right. Well, I don't know what's going to happen to the motion to withdraw, but I can tell you, Judge, and this was from the heart here, your experience with this, and I haven't done the math, but I can almost guarantee you it's a much higher percentage of filings from the other side.
There's a lot on...
Which I have to respond to those filings, Judge. When he files something, I have to respond.
But I also, there's also attached into document 117.
117? I don't know.
A whole bunch of your emails, pages and pages of them. And I don't like them.
I don't like them either, but I would tell you those are excerpts. You didn't see whole emails.
Well, that may be true, but I don't like them. And
I will never. The emotions that the court is going through, you have to. I hope you understand. I'm going under also. I'm being.
But you throughout this, you stir the pot.
Okay, please tell me how, Judge.
We're in the middle of this lawsuit, and you file an amended complaint to sue their lawyer.
Nods
head. There is no purpose to do that other than to stir the pot and instigate conflict.
This right here. Let's tell it like the judge. Did you even look at the fucking complaint?
It seems like he didn't, because
he
had made up his mind immediately he wasn't going to allow it. Because look what he just says here. You knew I wasn't going to allow you to sue their lawyer in an action which they are represented, because there's no way that lawsuit can go forward with that lawyer serving as both lawyer and party. You knew that. There's no way around that. You can't have a lawsuit go forward where you sue the defense lawyer. The defendants are there, and a jury is supposed to be like, okay, now you're the defense lawyer. Now you're not. Now you're a party. Now you're on the stand. Now you're cross-examining yourself. There was no reason to do that. And it raised all those things, just raised the temperature here. And I thought when I got assigned to this case and read the complaint, I thought this is a simple case. We got one plaintiff, two defendants. The case goes forward to trial. And it has ballooned into this nightmare. Welcome to the club, Judge.
Yep. Indeed.
And maybe some of that is their fault. Maybe it's some of their fault, but it is not my fault.
It's not your fault. It is actually. It is your fault.
Actually, it is kind of his fault. It is, because he allowed this.
You should have stepped on this shit. You knew it. You don't want to be that guy, but and not want to be that guy, you're this guy.
You allowed it. And you know who deals with it all the time? Me. And I'm done with it.
Nods head.
I'm done with this gentleman right here. My law clerk spending most of his days researching and writing and trying to keep up with the docket in this case.
Nods head. Well,
yeah, because you're not entitled. Mr. Hales is entitled to have a trial in this case, but he is not entitled to monopolize a federal judge's time.
There's no doubt about it, Judge.
And so you bear responsibility for that.
I do.
And I appreciate that you're here, and I appreciate that you're acknowledging some responsibility. But let's go back to these two specific motions.
Okay.
And this is a problem I have had with the practice in this case overall, is I get motions and I read them and I say, okay, what cases should I go read? What's the case law in this? And most of the time I get nothing. I don't have any. Your motion to dismiss, does it direct? Does it cite an 11th Circuit case?
Are you talking about this anti-slap?
No, I'm talking about the one that we're before right now, the two, 85 and 86. The motions to dismiss the counterclaim. Do they cite any 11th Circuit precedent?
It's just jurisdictional. It's a jurisdictional argument. You're trying to add a state, someone from Florida to Florida.
But did you discuss it all in there, how it is that you're actually a party, and whether or not any case law about how a person who has not been served yet in a lawsuit is a party to a lawsuit? Any case law about how it is that you could have the plaintiff seek dismissal on behalf of somebody who has not actually yet been served?
No, Judge, but...
So who's going to do that? Me! So what you expected to do was file that motion, and then I am going to have to write an order and go through that and spend time to say, here's the legal standard. Here's what it takes to add an additional party under Rule 13H. Here are the service rules here. And then I'm going to provide all the analysis and the discussion to explain why those motions have no basis in fact or law.
Okay, I'm getting it now. What was going on? But I'm Judge. Had there been a statement of parties, had there been an addendum clause saying, I sue Jeremy Hales for X number of dollars, it wouldn't have happened. You had allegations, serious ones, that I'm conspiring with my client. And so and all I needed was an addendum clause.
So you think it's surplusage? What is surplusage? Holy crap. What is that's a $10 word. Surplusage. Holy crap. This is a legal term, folks. It refers
He's saying
to
like it's what, extra necessary?
yeah,
like
more than
unnecessary.
necessary. An amount or quantity that is more than what is necessary, required, or needed. Okay. So superfluous.
Yeah.
Unnecessary. Okay, so let's
I'm not
let's
used to
look back in.
that statement of it though. Surplusage.
No, I've never heard that word before, ever. So you
I
think
don't
it's
know what
surplusage.
those allegations are now.
Then you can move to, well, there are mechanisms to doing.
Right. What we're going to, that's right. That statement doesn't belong there.
But the mechanism is not a motion to dismiss made by Mr. Hales on behalf of his lawyer.
I talked to her counsel about this. This is, had there been an addendum clause, I'm being accused of allegations and paragraphs in, and with the count of intentional infliction of emotional distress, that I'm conspiring with somebody.
But it's not as though this is the only case ever where people who are not sued, they're discussed in a complaint. That happens all the time, where there are non-parties there are people who you can have a whole narrative in a complaint about a whole bunch of different conduct by a whole bunch of different people. But the plaintiff has decided to sue two of them. And if the two people who are named as parties and the two people who get served with the complaint, those are the people who are the parties to the action. You don't become a party to the action because somebody uses your name in a complaint.
Well, it was the conspiracy thing. And also, if they just would have had an addendum clause saying, we sued Jeremy Hales for X number of dollars, even a statement of the parties, which is required. That's the kicker too. These things that are supposed to be in this freaking document, they weren't there. A jurisdictional statement is required. So why isn't he bitching at Bruce about these documents?
Because he's not there.
I know, but why didn't he bitch at him about what led to them? Like, why wasn't that part of it? I mean, again, you can look at it and the judge is saying, yeah, there's issues here, but you should have filed a different document. You should have put in more citation. Okay, fair enough. All right, put in more citation. But you know what really led to it? Bruce filing a shitty freaking counterclaim.
Right. That was
it's just a joke of a counterclaim. Yeah, that should be addressed. I mean, if you're going to rake somebody, you should be raking them for that. But none of those were there. So,
and does your motion address any of those issues? Does it raise those issues?
It raises the issue, Dad. The issue that the jurisdictional argument, you didn't make the statement. So you're accusing someone of a conspiracy. And I'm saying, well, if you have this allegation against me, you can't make it here because I'm a Florida resident.
Okay, here's when you said defendant Preston filed a counterclaim which seeks to add plaintiff's counsel as a party defendant. How do you add a party? How do you add a party?
I understand, Judge. And again, if that would have been there, that specific.
It doesn't need to be there. I just told you the rule.
Right, but he could just file a motion afterwards, right? Isn't it? There's a time deadline here to respond.
The chat says their anxiety is over the roof.
I have anxiety over the roof.
No, but I mean, Randy's making a good point. Like I said, what really stood out to me about all of this is, again, Randy's being smart about it. He was like, yeah, this is my fault. It's not your fault, Judge, whatever. He took his lumps, but he's also defending himself and his need to go after this stuff. And he's calling out this garbage by Bruce. He's like, what the hell is this, man?
Yeah, this is crazy. And you can oppose it. That's what you can.
You're right. I can oppose it.
That's the way this works, is if someone wants to add a new party in a counterclaim, they file a motion, they detail that. And you can respond. You could say, look, hey, they're trying to add me. They can't do that because it would destroy complete diversity.
Right.
And then they can reply to that, and then I can rule on it.
And if they want to add me, they go to state court.
And if they want to and they got to serve, they have to serve you and do all those things, none of which happened here. And again, I go back to my basic reaction. And the reaction in my chambers, which we read the counterclaim, and none of us saw you added as a defendant.
Okay, well, Judge,
So
if it please the court, I'll accept what you say. Whatever you want to do, I'll accept it.
I mean,
You asked me where I was coming from.
yeah, I appreciate it.
I see allegation of conspiracy.
But and again, if it was just those two things in a vacuum.
See, so he told them, like right there, these two, well, it's not really that problem. It's this case. So, okay, he only picked out two, though. He just said that the other see, this is kind of frustrating to look at because he's asking for an answer to these things. He got it. He tried to bring up what had happened in the past. And the judge was like, we're not talking about that right now. So Randy's like, okay, well, we'll talk about this. Now the judge is like, well, we're actually talking about all this other stuff in the past. So
Right.
It's like, this is a lose-lose
Look,
situation.
what I see here is a judge that is so fed up.
He's pissed.
Somebody's going to pay, and Randy is standing there in front of him. It's going to be Randy. Because he's just fed up.
I mean, I understand it too. I get it. This case would piss me off if I were part of it.
And for those of you asking, is it really worth $4,000? Ask his law clerk who had to stay up nights working on it. The guy who only gets paid a salary.
It's not a $4,000.
And doesn't get overtime.
He's reaching into the lawyer's pockets because that was the intent was to make it hurt enough that they stop. So, $4,000, is that extreme? I mean, yeah, you feel it. If he would have fined you a couple $100,
but it's not a lot for attorneys who practice at $4.50 an hour.
Yeah, I mean, and
it's enough.
Honestly,
it's enough to leave a mark. You're going to remember it, but it's not enough that it's going to bankrupt anybody who's an actual practicing attorney.
There are real statements made in this thing too. This judge is saying we're going to trial. We keep going.
Look what Steve said. How much is the judge and the clerk's Xanax bill? Exactly. It might have been $4,000.
Exactly. That's what it is. He's like, but we're out of freaking network. Yeah. Okay. So in a vacuum, yeah.
But it's not, everything is considered in context.
Well, then I wish you would let me, and I wasn't.
Yeah, I'm going to let you. I'm going to allow you to say everything you want to say.
If you want to look at this later, because I was focusing on those two motions today. That's exactly what he's saying. Look, like you told us two motions.
Right. No, those are the two motions.
Right.
I'm talking about those two motions, but I'm saying if those motions arise within the context of this entire lawsuit.
Absolutely.
And the context of the entire lawsuit is those are kind of the latest in a flurry of, look at the docket here.
Now, here we go. Now, can I show you something that I was going to show you?
Sure. The document cam is right there, but let me finish here.
Okay.
I'm still not done railing at you. And then I'll give you an opportunity, but you got to consider that. Look at the docket here. Look at it. And I don't know, maybe you aren't on ECF all day long, but I am.
Yes.
Any objective observer would take a look at this docket and say, what a disaster.
That's what we kept saying. It's like, holy crap, man. Most cases do not hit 100 filings. When you see these cases, that's why, again, that other case we were looking at with the counterclaim that includes paint chips, when you have 300 plus filings, you're like, what the hell has happened here? Something's gone wrong. And of course, it's because people were trying to derail a case. They were going insane with it. And that's what you had in this. So, so he's like, I agree, but I've done the math.
There's a lot of stricken beside things that you've filed.
Excuse me?
There's a lot of bold stricken beside a lot of things that you've filed that I have stricken for for example, you filed an answer to Rule 12b-6 motion to dismiss.
And there's a reason for that.
But you can't do it. You can't do it.
Okay.
A Rule 12b-6 motion has to be filed before the answer.
I have something to say about that, if I could.
No. I'm not interested in hearing your explanation because I'm telling you, I'm not sanctioning you for that. I'm telling you, you can't do that.
Oh, okay.
And so that's just an example of how this docket, everything just gets ballooned. And what any reasonable observer of that docket would also say is I have been way too patient and probably the reason why the docket has gotten the way that it is. I've given you guys too much leeway. And look, I've never had a situation before where I threaten people with sanctions and they don't stop.
That statement right there. Yes. Yeah. Yes.
So he's used to threatening and people are like, okay,
Yeah. Well, he was like, again, Bruce. So Bruce's answer was, I really am afraid of going to jail, Your Honor. You know?
Yeah.
but he didn't stop. He just got crazier. So, I mean, it is there. Well, your threats taken very seriously.
Well, here we are.
Well, your motion then started. This one said, do not name call, and you won't find one example.
Yeah, but you do a lot of
me doing that.
But you do a lot of threatening of getting me involved and a lot of, the emails attached to that one document. I don't like any of them.
I also tell him, please don't disparage people.
Yeah.
I say, please don't do this. I'm trying, Judge, to educate my friend who's a member of the bar. That's nice of him to call him a friend, by the way.
Uh-huh.
My friend who calls me a fraud and tries to destroy my life in public and my reputation, who's a member of the bar in Connecticut and Massachusetts. I'm trying to educate him. Please, this is not proper. I could show you a lot of emails. You're not seeing them.
Well, I'm sure of that. I believe it.
Most of them were teaching emails from me. Teachable moments.
Right. Well, some of the stuff, this is not, let me read you one. This is not a teachable email.
Okay.
Okay, wow, you really obviously don't know how to research. I do know the cases, and since you are not even licensed to practice law in Florida, I don't think it's my responsibility to tell you the cases. But you might want to start with the Supreme Court of Florida on this exact point. That's it. I'm not going to do your research for you. You are 1,000%, 1,000,000% wrong on this. Just asking you this counterintuitively, I will ask you a rhetorical question. Why do you think the 21 days is there if it doesn't have any effect? Check that out with the Supreme Court of Florida. That's a teaching email? Well, I would say that.
Yes, actually. Okay. Well, here's the question. It's better than that. So is Randy supposed to do research for Bruce? And if he's doing that, is he billing Jeremy Hales while he's doing that?
Right. Exactly. Why is it Randy's job to educate an out-of-town carpetbagging lawyer?
Well, not just educate, to prepare rebuttal to his points. Is he supposed to? He's supposed to rebut his own points?
Yeah, that's crazy.
And I was expecting, like, when you looked at, like, when I first read that, I was thinking he's going to read some crazy email. That's not that bad there, is it? So, yeah, he sent me law which was wrong. It's almost like saying Plessy versus Ferguson is valid law. That was the context.
Okay.
And I'm saying, no, Brown versus Board of Education overruled it.
Well, that's your idea of a teaching email?
If you saw the string, Judge.
Look, I think I said this to you guys before. This is like talking to my kids.
Yes.
When my 11-year-old does something and then my 7-year-old reacts and my 7-year-old reacts and says, well, look, my 11-year-old, he did it first.
Yeah.
Do you have children?
3.
And when they do that, do you say, oh yeah, it's okay. It's totally cool that you did that because they did it earlier?
No.
But that's what you want me to do is say, look, yeah, I see you did these things, but someone else did things first. That's what we're supposed. You wouldn't accept it from your children. I wouldn't accept it from mine, but you want me to accept it from you?
See, it's crazy though.
This is not the same thing.
No, it's not at all. And you're talking about, again, he's basically saying you got to coach this guy. If you're a shitty lawyer, like, his job is to destroy this other guy. His job is to get justice for his client. That is his only job. It is not to help out some deficient freaking mental case over here.
Who is heading up a conspiracy to destroy your clients and your life.
Which apparently the judge didn't even bother to read over. Because he's like, hey, this is just too far. It's too far. Shit. I don't. And if he's going to be withdrawn, Judge, please give me a second chance.
I've already done that, okay? I've sat here and did a redeposition. 2.5 hours of my life that I will not get back because you guys couldn't do a deposition on your own.
Well, we've taken some, that haven't had any issues. So
Good.
actually, some of those, you're being very nice about that, for Jeremy and for
Yeah.
yourself. Because, yeah, I read through some of those. We talking about Amanda Martin?
Yeah, there were
oh my
some
God.
issues.
That court should have been all over those. Those should have been some real.
Yeah, but let me
here
just
comes-
say, while I've got you here, and I know you're getting beat up on, because the other person is not here.
Yeah. So see, he's noting that again. Like again, they like to skip this stuff. That's fine.
But the Mr. Paget thing, you tell me, you moved to say they didn't confer with me, deny the motion, and I did because they didn't satisfy the meet and confer requirement. But then I look back and, there had been this discussion about scheduling a deposition. And then it's like, now we're not.
But I gave them dates. I said, we're available this day.
Yeah, I know. What I'm saying is that, but then it looks like you're not assisting at all in helping to conduct the deposition. I don't know. Why does he need to? It's not his
It's
deposition.
not. Well, is Bruce, like again, all those freaking people that
God.
just didn't show up or anything. Did you see Randy crying to the court and being like,
No, he never
Bruce
did.
isn't doing this for me?
Yeah, no, he never did. How come the judge wasn't informed then about Lisa not showing up for her deposition? Just totally no show.
Any of them. I mean, hell, who did show up? We got what, one?
One.
So, I mean, when we're talking about, if it would have been one no-show, that's something else. The rest of them, that damn well looks like a conspiracy to me.
I'm just using that as an example of
Right.
where, all I'm trying to get you to see, Mr. Shockett, is that I've got lots of cases. And in almost all of those cases, the lawyers have to deal with the same, they have the same types of requirements. They have to depose people. They have to do all these things. And I don't hear about it.
There's a lot you haven't heard about.
Yeah, but I'm saying those lawyers, they figure it out.
I can figure it out with anyone else, Judge. And the stuff I wanted to show you.
Yeah, you'll get a chance. But what I'm saying, though, is if you think it's going to get easier now that there's a pro se party, potentially pro se parties involved, I don't know if that's necessarily true. And so I think you've got to figure out a way that you can't keep filing stuff like those motions because that affects the court and that affects my resource. You are using the resources of the court.
This is why the judge put in the lawyer thing, because he doesn't want to have to deal with the pro se clients.
Right.
That's pretty fucked, really, when you think about it. Bruce does enough damage. He walks out and this guy's like, oh my God, pro se clients. Hey, well, please somebody pick this up. We'll give you some candy.
God.
Can't pay you, but here's some resources from the
Here's some court resources you can munch on.
Another educational, but oh my God, please educate these
Please
people.
God. I'm looking at a motion to dismiss counterclaims going, there are no counterclaims. There are no counterclaims. He's not been served. There's no motion to add him as a party. Why is he filing motions to dismiss?
Well, there are duplicates, but.
Yeah, and they don't have to be filed that way. You can file one motion on behalf of both as it relates to both defendants. But I'm just trying to figure out why. Again, that's just the example we have before us. There's just no need to do it.
And I agree, Judge.
And when I sit back here, and I'm not involved in everything you are, when I sit back here and I look at the docket and I see this stuff happening, I see that those two motions come in with no factual or legal basis. I see others coming from the other side with no factual or legal basis. And then I see others come in from this side and it just looks like.
I get it.
So go ahead now and show me what you want to show me. But can we can turn the document camera on or you can give them to the clerk.
Well, I'll show it, but it's at the risk of it's almost like a moot point. But yeah, I'll show it because you don't have it.
Okay.
And I was going to bring it out, so.
I'm giving. This is your opportunity. So whatever you want to show.
You can see
Poor
he's like, "Oh,
Randy is like,
God,
I don't know.
yeah."
Maybe I
He's like, "I want to
shouldn't.
show you what's going on with Bruce here, like the fucked
Yeah.
up stuff he's doing, but do I do this?" Well, it doesn't relate to those dismissals, but yeah. So if you notice for Mr. Manskin, these are
You can use that right here.
we have a courtroom deputy too.
Oh.
Would you like to use the court camera so he comes in?
Or do you want to?
Sure.
You should be able to put it right on there.
What you're going to see, maybe I don't.
What's that?
I like how he's like, I don't want to put that up there. What you're about to see, maybe I don't want to publish it, but you'll see. Is it face up?
It comes to me, so
Face up?
yep.
Okay. I can't see. Maybe you can. Can you see the whole thing?
Yep. I can see it.
So if you notice in the item, it was one which he didn't respond to, Mr. Manskin, about the counsel.
Uh-huh.
It was not a typo. This is one example of, and it's on Facebook. He routinely in our phone calls would say, "Counsel, are you available?" Here's another one. And there's a picture on this. This is not. This is, you can Google this.
Yep.
They have one with this polyflop, which is not an acronym that anyone knows about, with me wearing a crown.
Uh-huh.
And they took it down after you set this hearing.
Uh-huh.
Here's another. This is a counsel, an email that you didn't see. He's also attacks my client, calling him an extremely petty person. And I want this case heard, Judge. And I tell you that this is only a sampling of what is out there, though it's not focusing.
We're going to, right, there's a little focus. The thing on the top, it's like a knob.
Yes.
Okay, right there. That will focus it. We're in.
Okay, this was before August 3rd. I want to destroy this man and his YouTube empire. Then, wow, here we are. That is the goal. Destroy Jeremy Hales legally. I'm just giving you like coming attraction of a movie
Yeah.
of what's out there. So,
and
he's also keeps saying he wants to take my deposition. So when the counterclaim came, I said, okay, now I see it's conspiracy.
Yeah, I'm going to deal with all of that.
Oh, baby. Okay, I apologize to the court if I reacted like I'm being accused of something.
But part like what I'm trying to get you to see, because I'm removed from your daily interactions. And it's just sometimes when you're involved in something, you don't see it the same way as some neutral party who is not privy to all of that sees it, right? You see something different. And what I see is tit for tat. And what I see is that you sue him, then he says nasty stuff about you, but there's you naming him as trying to file an amended complaint and named him as, well, you actually did name him as a party in an amended complaint. Do you see how that looks?
Judge, let me ask you a question just rhetorically. Can a client use their attorney, especially in a defamation case, in a tortious interference case, to continually to defame and tortiously interfere?
Yeah, well, I think that's why you can have another action.
Okay, but I was trying to combine them.
Yeah, but...
And I hope you saw the email to whatnot.
Yeah, and again, I'm not getting all that. I'm just trying to get you to see what it looks like.
I do see what it looks like. You have no idea, Judge. Please understand. I understand. I understand.
Yeah.
And half these sockets are responses to him.
Yeah.
Sockets. Is that docket?
No,
Yeah,
no.
dockets. That's dockets.
Dockets?
Half of everything I filed is a response
Right.
to him. That's what he says. Okay. Because those sockets, I was like, what the fuck?
Sockets?
What are we plugging in now? And I understand that's what you asked me what I was thinking about.
Yeah.
I'll give you a context. I see conspiracy. I see someone wants to take my deposition around the same time, still even 2 days, 3 days ago before this happened, asking me for deposition dates.
Yeah.
So
my responsibility is to first ensure that litigants in a case get their opportunity to have their case tried in front of a fair and impartial tribunal, right? That's what we're trying to do here.
Yes.
I have an obligation to make sure that the judicial system is not abused and that the resources of the court are not unnecessarily diverted to frivolous and malicious and unnecessary litigation. And I also have an obligation to ensure that officers of the court behave appropriately and don't abuse the privilege that they've been given to appear in front of the court and to litigate cases in federal court. It's not a right, it's a privilege. And I've just really struggled here because I've been on the bench for, a little over 2 years, but I've been a lawyer for about 18 in a lot of different contexts. And I've never seen anything like this. And so maybe you haven't either. I don't know. That's Judge.
Yes.
None of us have ever
None
seen
of us have
anything
seen
like
it, dude.
this.
That's what we keep saying. And we're frustrated. And you know what? I agree. The judge doesn't see the daily, the struggles and all of that. But here's the problem. The judge is not allowing a place to show this context. Bruce has been allowed to take snippets of emails, items. And again, what the judge brought up there is quote unquote a learning experience. I don't believe it's Randy's obligation to counsel somebody that is treating him like absolute garbage. He saw the examples, the counsel, the other bullshit. You have that, and Randy's not, he's a problem though, because he's not taking times to mentor this clown. I don't get it, man. I don't get that. Like I said, I get what the judge is saying. The judge is like, I am frustrated. That's ultimately what the message is. I am beyond frustrated. But
and his staff is stretched really thin, and he can't see it from the inside. So, like he says, to him, it just looks like two people going back and forth, and he doesn't have time for this shit.
So I haven't.
But you do bear some responsibility for it.
I do.
And if what you want here is for this case to go forward and for this case to get to trial, then you have to, you are responsible for your conduct. You're responsible for how you respond to somebody else.
Yes.
And you're responsible for what you push send on. And you're responsible for what documents you file.
Nod head.
He's back to nodding his head. And my assessment at this point is that you haven't exercised that responsibly. I'm not saying that this isn't a comparative negligence type situation where I assign degrees of fault.
Right.
But I want you to understand that I'm not pleased, and I've said that before, but today is the day that, sanctions are going to be imposed. And if it continues, they will continue to be imposed.
Yeah, see, again, this day was going to be the sanction day. It didn't matter what he said.
No, it didn't matter. But today is the day. You were supposed to bring your wallet. Did you bring your wallet?
Yeah. It's like, I
hope you brought your wallet. And we've got this other litigation going on too.
Judge, did you see that one, by the way? Attorney Gage, he and I are just as professional as can be.
Yeah.
We confer.
I hope that maintains. I hope that continues, but
of course it is. Of course it will. I see you disagree, but I have to tell you.
Yeah,
Judge, if you look at, I'm not going to be filing motions against pro se parties. Like anything like this. And I wanted to say this because you used the word yesterday, absurd. I've used that in emails. To his sometimes allegations or comments. So when you said that, that's the word I have used. You haven't seen the emails. It is you already ruled. I respect that.
But again, I'm saying though, you don't have to do things like sue him. Try to amend that. Well, yes, he does. Try to amend the complaint to sue him in this case. I mean, you know that any rational lawyer in that situation is going to react negatively to that.
But you're representing your client, Judge. I mean,
you can file another lawsuit.
We did that.
Yes, but after I told you no, which you knew was going to happen.
As I remember, Judge, you said, would you like that to happen to you if you are the other lawyer?
Yeah.
And I said no.
And I'm sure if someone did it, that you may have unkind things to say.
I mean, what? Sorry, I didn't hear.
You may have unkind things to say if someone tried to do that to you.
Right.
And so there's responsibility. And we could have litigated this entire case without that. And all that did was ratchet the temperature way up. And going forward, whether you are litigating in this case against Miss Preston and Mr. Cook, proceeding pro se, or whether they have counsel who comes in, my expectation is that your emotions
Wait. He's already decided Bruce is out of this case. Read that. Because he's talked, how many times has he talked about pro se clients in this?
Yeah, a couple.
Yeah. I mean, he just did it again. So, I mean, he's already made the decision that Bruce was out. Like today, I think he was probably going to remove him.
Yeah. My expectation is your motions are supported by citations to case law, contain analysis, help me resolve the issue presented, and have a basis in fact and law, and are not filed because you have an emotional reaction to what you think someone else is trying to do. But instead you step back and say, well, they haven't added me as a party. They haven't moved to do this. I haven't been served. I don't have any basis to file this motion to bother the judge with these motions.
I hear what you're saying, Judge.
Okay. What else do you want to say? This is your opportunity.
We do have, I took, well, obviously, you said no more other motions until this hearing. I don't. I have a very lengthy discovery motion that I've been setting on. Actually was going to file the next day.
Yeah.
I need to file it. I don't know where we are with.
Well, there's a pending motion to withdraw.
Right. So I said.
And I haven't ruled on that. So the likelihood is there will be a stay in the case anyway.
Okay.
Because counsel will have to be obtained for the other side.
That's fascinating. So all this bullshit that they kept talking about with discovery, it being done and everything else, they obviously knew that wasn't done. And Randy right here on record back then is saying, hey, I've got something rather lengthy that I need to file. So basically, this is fascinating to me. Bruce has abandoned these two when they're going to get hit with all the problems with discovery.
Mm-hmm.
Because they didn't turn shit over.
Mm-hmm.
God, you talk about jamming somebody up. I mean, again, they keep talking about, oh, he's going to be helping behind the scenes. Doesn't matter, man. And oh my God, just imagining the court, like if this goes to jury, imagine them actually conducting the freaking interview, talking. Oh my God, I'm just imagining them standing in front of the jury. Oh God, it's so glorious. I really want this to happen. Lord, I don't ask for much, but
Lord,
I'm like, if either I get 2L1 as their lawyer or them, I don't care which. I'll take it either way. Lord, I'm not a picky person. Like I said, I don't beg, I don't plead. When I had help from and stuff, I
feel like God's ear is closer to the earth today. I mean, we did get a Laura Owens indictment. So
while you're
today
listening,
is the day. While you're listening, while you're meting out justice.
Yeah, let me put my arm around your shoulder and be like, hey, what's up? Let me tell you this one.
Oh my God.
So should I wait till the stay or?
I say no motions filed till today.
Right. I'm ready to file like with the push of a button.
It better be. It better be.
It's very lengthy, 11 exhibits. I have just a deficiency letter about discovery to him attached.
Well, I think what I would say is, have you talked to Miss Preston and Mr. Cook about it?
Why would he talk to them so far?
Right. He can't. He just found out that their lawyer withdrew.
Yeah. So, I mean, it wouldn't have been them. Okay. I didn't.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm just saying, I'm asking because you need to confer. You have to have a meet and confer.
That's funny. So he's telling them again, like he's off the case.
Yeah.
He's already decided it. That's another beautiful statement. See, this thing has told us a lot outside the argument. Maybe the judge didn't even mean to really say.
Look at this. Read the next one.
No, I haven't confirmed because he's still their lawyer officially. I have conferred with him.
Yeah, so I just wait.
Oh, shit,
not for long.
Yeah, that's what that means. Yeah. Oh my God. Okay. Then will you give us a discovery deadline if we're going to pause everything? We're on 20.
Yeah, we're going to pause everything.
So that means the discovery deadline is paused?
Everything is going to be paused.
Okay.
if he's withdrawn.
So he just so he told you, yes, that is going to happen. Oh, by the way, if it happens. I love how he answered it, and then he was like, wait, no, well, if it does.
Oh God.
Gotta love this. This is so crazy. Judge, I'll accept everything you say. Any sanction you have to give.
I just want you, I'm really at my limit.
I see that.
Because it has become a tremendous burden on me and my staff.
I apologize to the judiciary, law clerk.
It is a daily, almost probably a daily task. Welcome to the club, Judge. We do this every day too. Every damn day.
Yeah.
And you're not 100. You don't bear all the responsibility for that, but you bear some of it.
You said no more motions. How many were filed since you filed?
Yeah, I understand that. Like I said, we're going.
Not one by me.
Yeah, we're going to deal with it.
That's that's fascinating.
By
Because
the
again,
way,
he's like,
this was
not
a
one
month
by
ago.
me.
It
Yes.
is now May 6th. This was on April 3rd. Have you really dealt with it, Judge?
Yeah, no.
You dealt with it? You haven't done shit.
And Bruce, again, it's out of sight, out of mind. That's the ugly thing about this. Essentially, he's been like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to pause everything. Everything's going to stop. Well, the fucking mess from Bruce didn't stop. The stuff he doesn't want to see. He's just like, make sure it's swept outside my courtroom. As long as it's unprofessional, as long as it's outside.
Right.
That's not how it's supposed to be.
Right.
Either.
No.
And I mean, we're talking about a guy that, again, he just had a freaking hearing where he's been going after the bar. He's been going, oh my God, man. Who doesn't he go after? I mean, honestly, he goes after other lawyers that have even represented on this case, because they didn't like to talk to him on it. He's gone after judges. He's gone after the bar. I mean, who doesn't he go after? He goes after journalists. Holy shit. So crazy. Anyway, okay.
Yeah, we're going to deal with it. Oh, but what I have in front of me right now are the two that you've filed.
I understand.
And I find no factual or legal basis for them because I've explained there was no legal basis to believe that a counterclaim had been filed against you. There was no motion to add additional parties. There was no indication elsewhere in the counterclaims that they were adding you as a party. They listed your name, but there was no identification of parties, including you. You were not served with a summons, which would officially make you a party in this case. And from a legal perspective, there's no legal basis to file a motion to dismiss when you had not been legally identified and named and served as a party. And so I find that was a violation of Rule 11, and I'm going to impose sanctions for it. The sanctions that are going to be imposed are personal to you.
I understand.
They're not sanctions on Mr. Hales. It wasn't his decision to file those motions. It was yours. And so the sanctions are going to be imposed on you. And the sanctions are going to be $2,000 per motion. So it's a $4,000 sanction payable to the clerk of the U.S. District Court. You should pay that as soon as you can. If you pay it today, great. Go down and pay it. If you need more time, let me know.
I can see that. I actually brought my checkbook. I couldn't bring my laptop.
Okay, all right. So yeah.
So it's in my briefcase.
You take care of it as soon as you can. And this is the first time. I mean, I've been on the bench 2 years. And this is the first time I've sanctioned a lawyer under Rule 11.
Nods head.
I've sanctioned a pro se party under Rule 11.
Oh, God.
And I've issued attorney's fees under the mandatory attorney's fees provision of the discovery
That's not
rules.
good for them, though. He's like, I've never gone after a lawyer, but I have had a pro se party before.
Never sanction a lawyer under Rule 11. I've never had a show cause hearing to sanction lawyers. I don't want to do it. I think it is not enjoyable. It is not something. This is like when your parent says, I'm going to spank you. It's going to hurt you.
Yeah.
It's going to hurt me much worse than it's going to hurt you. Yep. And I don't want to do this, but it's for your own good.
Exactly.
I know it's hard to practice law. Oh, I don't want to be known as the judge that does that because I know it's hard to practice law. That's why I've tried to be patient here and not doing it sooner. I recognize that the practice of law is difficult and that people make mistakes and their emotions can be involved. And that's why I tried to just give warnings and let things go. But I've failed in that respect. And I recognize that some of the reason why the docket looks like it does is because I didn't do this sooner. And so I take no pleasure in doing it. I appreciate your candor, your willingness to be here and to accept responsibility, even if you don't necessarily agree, but to at least acknowledge and accept responsibility and to make a pledge to do better going forward. And so I hope that this is not something that we do again.
I can tell you I'm relieved
Okay.
of the withdrawal motion. I'm so happy
Well,
about it in that sense.
well, I mean, but
You don't know half of it, Judge.
well, I understand that, but I have no look again. I'm not interested in your petty squabbling, right? I want the case to go forward. I want us to get to trial, and I want this case to be off my docket.
Is it petty squabbling when a guy's like, I
Yeah,
want to
it's-
burn
it's
your
not.
life down?
No, it's really not. He needs to understand what's actually happening in this case, and he doesn't. And
Well-
I don't like him saying, "I just want this off my
Actually,
docket."
no. It's even worse because what he said right here in this, again, if the case was dismissed against Bruce, right here, this is grounds for an appeal, like straight up, because he's like, this looks like you're just basically trying to get a reaction. You're going after him, quid pro quo. You stack up all of the statements that he's made. I mean, if it gets kicked, if Bruce does, I think you have a legit shot at saying this judge is biased. So he really needs to sit down and read those things very carefully. Maybe he has. Maybe he's looked at it and really paid attention to that. Who knows? But that's not how he looked at it before. And I think maybe you can see it down the road. I saw the district court judge said these cases are closely related. Do we want to have now, maybe it's relief now from this issue of maybe we need to consolidate for trial.
Yeah, not my decision. I mean, you have to make a motion, and
Well, the answer is not, we're not done yet, is the other.
yeah, that's something.
We're not, it's not an issue yet.
Yeah,
I just,
that's something down the road.
actually, I just realized myself, we can relieve that issue. Something down the road.
Something down the road.
Yeah.
You can raise it. I don't know how it will be taken. No comment on how it will be taken, but you're always free to file that as a motion. But
It's untimely here.
yeah. Anything further?
No, Your Honor.
All right. So where we're at right now is I've got a rule on the motion to withdraw. I haven't granted it yet. I'm going to issue a separate order with respect to Mr. Manskin. It won't be today. I'm going to write it so that it will come out, and then we'll go forward from there. Okay.
Okay. Can I ask one? Can we issue them all at once? Can you issue
What's that?
all the orders from today?
If you want me to, why is that?
I do. Well, you can think why, because one will be easy. It's the easy one. I mean, the sanctions is easy. Not knowing something else is coming. We're pausing. I understand you're pausing the case.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not going to file a motion. I'm just going to wait.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's filed a motion to withdraw. I haven't granted it yet, but
But you're correct. I should confer with her.
if he's relieved of his responsibilities as counsel and they are pro se, you shouldn't do, and I issued a stay, then nothing happens for 30 days,
Unless she gets counsel.
including talking to her or conferring about anything, because
Right.
the case is going to be stayed.
So that means the motion, I shouldn't file it because it was talking about him, so it's fine. Just as long as you know. It was ready to be filed 3 weeks ago.
Let's just pause. Let me get the orders out, and then we'll reassess where we are, okay? And hopefully counsel may come in and new counsel may come in which case then you need to confer with them.
Right.
New counsel, okay?
Understood.
All right. Anything further?
Nope.
All right. Thank
And-
you. We'll stand at recess.
And we are done. See, again, that was rough, but not as, I don't know. I was picturing something. It would be rough in the moment for Randy, for sure. Not even saying that. The judge was irritated and upset, obviously. But again, I imagine it being so much nastier in my mind, And then the way, of course, the way those clowns play it up. They tried to make it sound like, we really got wrecked up in here. And yeah, that wasn't really the case. The judge came in. The judge had his mind made up. He was going to sanction both parties. They were probably going to get sanctioned relatively close. Again, he may have sanctioned Bruce for a little more. Who knows? The way that reads to me, I think he was going to sanction them both close to each other. So Bruce just screwed himself when he did all that. I love it. I kind of love that Bruce reacted the way he did. And I wonder, did he react that way because of what happened and he was afraid of, the judge's decision? Or did he react that way because now that we found out about the contract, he knew he wasn't going to get his payday? Anyway, I don't know. All right, I'm gonna hit super chat. You sticking or you out?
I gotta run.
Yeah,
I gotta run. That was fun though. Thanks for.
Yeah, it was. I'm glad we went through that one.
Yeah, that was good.
All right. Well, have a good
night,
one.
chat.
We'll see you. All right, later. Let's see. So that was pretty good, Chad, I have to say. It was an interesting document to go over. We went longer than I expected us to, but it was necessary. It was very necessary, in fact. It takes away the mystique of it, and it takes away the lies in it. They lied quite a bit. They tried to make it sound like, oh, he's so mad at just Randy. No, he was frustrated. The judge is absolutely 100% frustrated with his entire case. He was. And if he would have stuck, but instead he decided to abandon his clients, and he abandoned them right before the discovery hit. Like I said, that's madness. And they're out there trying to spin all this stuff. But man, getting abandoned is so nuts. Let's do this here. Max Lab kicks it up. Thanks for the 2. What's up, Tug? Another odd day. Yes, indeed. Props to you as always, too, Max Lab. Appreciate you. Quite a bit. It's been a weird one. Wendy Bono, thanks for the 14 months. Hey, Tug, Fox Mother and Chad. It's been a wild ride so far. It has indeed. SF, thanks for the 2. Her hair is making her late. I know. How dare their hair? Wheezy Wheels, thanks for the 5. What do you do when you have insomnia? You clean the oven, of course. That's true. Have a good evening, everyone. 1 a.m. here. The fridge is next, I think. I write when I get insomnia. I try to create something, we've been working on the Dead Punk actually made a cover for the whole story. It's in the final aspects of the proofing thing, but he made a cover, so we can put that together. Check this out. I like it. I thought it was a cool little picture, an image. So here's the image he created. Guy with the shovel, the hole, and it's dug in there. I like it. I like the creepiness, the feel to it. So I also, one thing I never do, like when I go out and I make something like, I create anything art project or whatever, I may use, I'm working on something I got about 30,000 words on. So it's splashing up to probably be a book the way it's going. But I use AI to keep up with a few things. But as a finished product, and when I say I'm using AI, I'm talking about like pictures. Like I want a visual representation of something so I can see it, so I can have it in front of me, an item in the story or whatever. And I may do that while I'm in there, but I do not use AI for a finished product. So it takes away from artists. You gotta watch that, because one day it'll come for you too. And artists, they actually they do a much better job of interpretation. One thing AI cannot do is it can take commands and try to interpret it, but it cannot do anything like a real artist can. Rosalind, thanks for the 10 there. I didn't have time to tell Jay and Anon what to say today. I'm not responsible unless they're funny. Then they're totally my fault. I know that's the way it should be. You know, if they're funny, then I hear you for sure. Max Lab also says, yeah, don't forget about the Levy update. Yes, I put that in there. Like I said, I believe that's the issue. Just to note, I believe that what you're seeing is a filing that's essentially saying we can't get this person served, so we're going another route. And that by itself is kind of fascinating. Aaron, thanks for the 6 months. Thanks for the live on Saturday. I had a pacemaker installed unexpectedly in a stream kept me company. Love to you, the mods. Hey, well, first of all, I hope you're doing okay. You know, after the installation on that, that is oh man, we all get hit by some crazy stuff, don't we? Sometimes. I hope you're doing good though, and I'm glad we could have a live stream on that this weekend. I don't know how things will play. We've got Mother's Day coming up Sunday, so I don't know. We have, like I said, I got a birthday next week. There's also a birthday of somebody that's close to me on, on the 12th. So it's kind of stacking there. But the 15th is mine. So I'll probably have a stream on that. I always like streaming on my birthday. And it also takes away people trying to throw me a stupid party that I don't want. But love to you, Aaron. Love to you. I hope you're okay now. James, again, happy birthday. Singing the happy birthday song. Appreciate you, my friend. Alec, thanks for the 5. I would imagine the only thing going poof is 2 wings with a bag of cream. Indeed, that's funny. Wes and Bama, thanks for 2. Please let BBB contact Ricada. That would be epic. Oh my God, that would be funny. It would be really, really funny. Dwayne, thanks for that. I need to get Bug to sing the happy birthday song. I do. She is asleep already again. It's kind of crazy. She's been going to bed, but the only problem with it is she's been waking up really early. You know, she's been waking up about 3 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes a little earlier than that. I'm like, oh my God. You know, I'm like, you can't get up yet. Don't wake me up at noon, 3 o'clock in the morning yet. Taz, thanks to Hey Tug, hugs and love. Hey, hugs and love return. Thank you. And also, thank you for the membership. Thank you. Welcome. Thank you for the membership. Welcome to Tug's Thugs. Thank you, Taz. Appreciate that. It's good to see you, too. Bucknaked, thanks for the 5. Tug, you need the bailiff whack his PB quote from Cheech and Chong case. It's about a PDF file, you know. Yes, I do remember that one. I do. That's actually funny. I haven't thought about that in a while. That's pretty freaking funny, especially everything considered. Sticky Widget, thanks for the 7 months. It seems like it's only been 7 months. Wow, time flies. It's amazing how your perspective of time changes as you age. I mean, in my 20s, I would have swore it's only been 7 months. Wait. Indeed. It is interesting, though, for real, how your perspective on time changes as you get older. You know, it is weird, too. When you look at things enough, it does seem like everything fast forwards, especially when I look at my kids. You know, from day to day, it's like, wow, there's, you know, the days march on, you know, slowly. But when you look back, it's like, man, it doesn't seem like that long. Emma, thanks for the 21 months. Bruce Spot Edmonds, yeah, needs to lay out the green. It's giving him too many delusions of grandeur. Indeed. The stuff going after DUI guys, wild. Wanda, thanks for the 10. Hey, Tug, Bug, and Lug. Hope you're all doing well. Thank you. We are doing pretty good. Appreciate it, too. Weather's been a little rough on us, but you know how that is. Rezilla, thanks for the 2. Give Deuce a pair of brown pants when he arrives. Oh, no. Oh, gross. Rach, thanks for the 5. Off talking, but BJ, baby mama, Laura Owens indicted. Yes, we went over that, and thank you, Rach. Thank all of you that told us that, by the way. I do appreciate it. The person that mailed me that, initially, the one that went through initially, I mailed them and asked if they wanted me to credit them, but they have not responded. So, John, it's good to see you, brother. You know, 5 gifted memberships there, too. Appreciate you, my friend. you know. John, thanks for 20 there. Still love you in this community, but I think you're missing out. You could be covering break lines. Like I thought about it. One of the problems I've had, John, just being blunt about it, like, you know, and again, I appreciate it, but being blunt about it, health, man, it's only allowed me to do certain things. I'm hoping by next month to be able to get back covering stuff, but I haven't been able to drop regular videos because, you know, I dropped videos daily. That's how I would cover multiple items, is I would do it in other videos. But with all of the health stuff, man, it has been a nightmare. You know, it has been. But yeah, I mean, of course, you know, and I like this rabbit hole though too. See, while you've been away, like there's some stuff. Maybe you've been here, I don't know. But if you've been away from where you talked before to now, the lawyer, the crazy lawyer in that, Bruce, he's ended up pulling out of the entire case. We found out that he wasn't a pro bono lawyer. He wasn't doing this stuff for free. He was doing this stuff for contingency. He and this other lawyer wanted 40%. So essentially, they set up this insane plot where they could get their payday. They signed the papers, and then 2 months later, they are out here trying to destroy this person. It's nuts, man. But yeah, I mean, there are cases. I am curious about the lively stuff. I read an article today on it, but I've been able to do a little bit more. If you'll notice, over the last few months, I don't post much or anything. I mean, it's been a health issue. So that's really what slowed me on doing anything. I held on with one case, and I do like this case. So, I mean, I would cover it regardless, but health has been a big concern in it. I mean, if I'm just being blunt about it, that's it. But man, I appreciate you, brother. It is good to see you, man. Cynic and Chief, thanks for the 5. What are the details on the multiple Owens felony charges? Omar is doing a stream on it tonight. Yeah, so we went over the document on it. That's crazy. We should get some more on that too. Hey, Seth, thanks for 2. Damn, they went to a grand jury. I know, appreciate it, man. You know, John, thanks for 10 there. Good night, all, and just wanted to pop in. Miss you guys. Doug is one trick pony. I'm bored with it. That's cool, man. Take your wrench if you want. I've done it. No, man. You know, you remember I covered Johnny Depp for 4 years. I heard the same thing, man. You know, heard the same thing. Some people were like, man, I don't ever want to hear about that. And that's okay. That is 100%. I get it. I will probably never cover anything out of the comic industry again. I'm bored and disgusted by it, just to be frank about it. And I don't know. But take your wrench now, brother. You know, I'll cover this, though. I'll be covering it for another year, probably. That's probably how long this will go on. I'll cover it until I see justice, you know? And I guess it was the same with, like, Laura Owens went faster. But, you know, I mean, we covered that in pretty well, you know, in depth. But the depth thing, that's pretty much all we covered for a long time, you know? And it got complaints, too. So, I mean, I get it. If it's not your cup of tea, it bores you. You know, specific cases speak to people. If you like the case and you find the stuff interesting, then it keeps your mind. If not, but I get it too, brother. But take your wrench out, man. You're allowed to have your opinion too. Any of you, if you don't like something or whatever, you are allowed 100% to have that opinion. You know, the only reason that you ever have any kind of problem, if somebody tried to do something to, you know, burn like a channel down or something, that would be a problem. But having an opinion, nah, dude, you know, you're good to go. You can be bored. You can not like something. Well, you know, it's totally okay. You're, like I said, you're appreciated. Rizilla, thanks for the 2 there. Warn the guard. She tends to go below the belt indeed. Indeed. Be careful. Jam, thanks for 2. It's Augie's birthday. Augie. Do I need to give a song for that too? Let's give it just another birthday song with that too. Let's do it. Who cares there? Because you should always have multiple birthday songs anyway. So let's give a birthday song. Happy birthday from all of us to you. Yeah, happy birthday. May all your dreams come true. Love it. Thank you too. Sean, Thanks for the fun there, Tug. I love the response in your response tag. It goes to Gingy, but yes, all of my responses there where I tagged in Gingy, he will actually see that. That's funny, and I posted DM too. Jacksmall, thanks for the 10 months there. That stream where you found the Fiverr logo, yeah, that was crazy. That was a crazy one they did. Yeah, Jacksmall, thanks for the 2 there. Maybe we should finally go find Love in Prison. Oh my God, it's going to be one of those Netflix shows. So you can cheat. Thanks, Bob. The sad part is that Johnny Somali will probably get more time in South Korea than Laura Owens. Yeah. And the What the Hales clowns ever will in the U.S. Oh, that's true. Like to honestly, I do wonder sometimes about, just again, with anybody, I really hope that the What the Hell's thing gets justice. But at the end of the day, I mean, you don't know. And then when they get justice, you're in civil court right now. Getting it to go civil to criminal is a whole different can of worms. Now, those people, though, if there's anybody that could do it, they probably could. So, Rantas, thanks for the 5. Asking prayers for sure. There, coming home, pup looking. You're eating. Has been eating a neurotoxin. I see this with dog eaters. Have no poisons at home. Oh, what happened? Could have eaten an insect or anything like that? Maybe. Just wondering. I mean, could it be something environmental? Could it have gotten a hold of something that caused an issue like that? Or, like I said, an insect. Like there's certain types of insects that will jack them up, and also it doesn't have to be a poison. It could be something that's having an adverse reaction, like specific types of food or anything. If you can get them checked out for sure, let me know. Like if it's doing better though. And yes, prayers for sure. Prayers for sure. Taz, thanks for 2. Finally, justice in the end. Yes, indeed, 100% there. Unyoung Hero, thanks for the 5. I'm looking forward to y'all. That over the Hales BS with the what you talking about, the Laura Owens thing? Yeah, the Laura Owens thing. It's not going to have the problem with any of stuff like that is you're not going to get a lot of updates on it. You'll get as it goes forward. They have decided that they're going to indict, which is a big deal. I mean, it is, but typically in something, you don't have enough case filings that you cover something a lot, like you've seen. Some of these cases, they'll fuel, like again, the big case, like a Depp case, Blake Lively. These cases, you could probably cover every single day if you wanted to, because they're big enough, they have enough reaction to them more. But typically in a civil case or a criminal case, you're not seeing, especially in a criminal case, because there's not a lot of filing. I mean, I'll be really curious with the criminal case. Is Gingy going to stick? Because if Gingy sticks to that one, wow. Gingy also has a little issue that's come up with Laura Owens. And that's the fact that she may actually sell him out. She may burn his ass. It could happen. You don't know. So we'll see. We'll see how that plays. John, by the way, thanks for 50 there. I see I left a trail of tears in my way. For those who think I'm some sort of SOB, let me ask how many memberships contributed to community. Because I'm quite sure, count them off the gifts, it's 500. Yeah, for sure. Again, it's not even that, dude. You're allowed to have your own opinion, my brother. And he said too, I'm allowed to now. Don't even feel like you need to explain yourself, my friend. Like there are going to be people that will disagree with you, man. There are people that'll be like, yo, but and there are people you don't like either. That's okay too, my friend. Never feel like you got to explain anything. If some people are like, hey, I don't like what you said there, that's okay, man. I mean, just you don't feel like you got to explain yourself ever. You're good people. We've had some pretty good topic discussions that have come up, but also, I mean, you get a feel for people after a while. Get a feel for people and what they look at, what they question. And like I said, that's the same reason I wouldn't take a wrench or anything. Hey, you're not doing anything wrong, man. quite the opposite. You know, if she's convicted, well, Gingy face charges or sanctions. Potentially, you could make the argument. You could actually do that and make the argument for him. But would David face something? I mean, you don't typically put someone in jail because of their lawyer, you know, but some of his behavior, some of the stuff, especially the harassing behavior, you can make a very good case that David has gone out, put together a webcast and more, trying to destroy Clayton Eckert after that decision. Now, he is allowed to have his free speech fundamentals. The thing is, though, like Laura Owens, she targeted this guy. After targeting this guy and trying to ruin him, she brought in this other dude to do. I mean, it's nuts, isn't it? So it'll be fascinating to see if there's complaints and, you know, more what'll come up. But I don't know. I don't know. John also. I still love the community. Kitty, many others. Wish you the best. Thanks to those that remember my wife. Yeah, how is she doing, by the way? She still has her eyesight issues. I wonder, how is she doing? You know? Well, it's the same with you, man. I don't know how to contact you, you know? And forget, like, covering things. You've been around a while. And I wonder periodically, with many of you, I wonder, and sometimes I'll reach out to people and be like, hey, how's it going? You know, just because I'm curious about it. I don't know. Like, that's the problem with online sometimes. Like, names just fade off into the ether. You know what I mean? And you never know. You never know what's going on. But love, man, to you, brother. And love to your wife. Love to all of you. You all are good people. So there's nothing else to add to that. Like I said, if you ever, you know, if you leave, then you leave. That's your prerogative. You know, we change over time. We like other things. There are plenty of other topics out there. You know what I've been interested in lately? These are, I get in random topic things. I've been interested in all of the problems Tesla is having. You know, I looked at the public backlash. I looked at the political backlash, but also the backlash against like the Cybertruck stuff has been wild to look at, all of the issues. So it's a random thing. I get interested in some random stuff too. I wander off, but I come back to what I look at, and I enjoy people along the way. So anyway, but appreciate you, like I said. TechBall, thanks for the 5. You should look at the docket. There's a couple of interesting things in there. Look at the docket. Well, the docket for Owens, or write me on that. I'm curious. Are you talking about the Owens docket, or are you talking about a different docket there too? I'm just curious. Like, if it's the docket we've been looking at, I missed something, or if it's the other thing. You know, just J-Hip, thanks for 5. Despite everything, I'm still interested in Laura. I like drama, but dingus is keeping us apart. I know, man. You know what bring you together? Babies. Babies. What you have to. Lily thinks the 5. Megan, you need to write about this Levy County police not honoring Jeremy's protective order. See, that's another thing that's crazy. I'll send a letter of complaint to our representatives. Yes, that is actually quite mad, you know, for them not to, and them not just to not do that, but to conspire with the people you have a protective order against. That is insane. They have an obligation under the law to enforce the protective order. And the protective order is very clear. It's about a spacing thing. If these people, they're not supposed to have contact. They're not supposed to do anything related to that. They're not supposed to be sitting on their property, screaming at people and shit, but that's what they do. Look at Travis today again. And they were calling him, again, a PDF file, essentially. Oh, you're trying to lure in the kids, you know? Holy crap, dude. Just Jay and things, too. Yeah, but Rule 26. Holy crap, that's funny. You say, well, yeah, indeed. Travis, what's up, man? Thanks for the 2. Why do crazy people have Michelle in their name? It is interesting. There is a overlap of that, man. You people that have Michelle in there, and you're not insane. You need to take those names back. You do. You do for sure. Okay, the cat lady. Thanks, dude. Does Gingy get in trouble for supporting perjury? Like I said, I'm not sure. Typically, you're allowed a defense. You're allowed a lawyer to go in to do your thing to protect you. Everyone's entitled to that. But what Gingy has done is way beyond that line, and we know it. We know it, and I think he probably knows that too. But he decided to push it, no matter what people found. He thought he would get himself a little bit of that internet clout, but he also thought for some reason his ego. You'll notice this with a lot of lawyers. A lawyer gets out of freaking frame, out of reference when that lawyer is like, I can do anything. And you see those sometimes. You see them where they're like, I can do anything. I will make this, no matter what the facts are, no matter what it is, I will make sure that they win this case. Some lawyers are good like that too. But Travis, things to do. Lynette, Michelle, Laura, Michelle, LM, just saying. LM's, oh my God, That's funny. Oh no. Oh no. Jessica, thanks for the 5. Did either of you get gifts I sent from the schoolhouse and your What the Hales family? From the schoolhouse and your What the I got a pencil sharpener. I forgot to mention that. It was hilarious. That is freaking hilarious. I did get that. Oh, by the way, I do need to note my little lawyer bag. I forgot to follow up on that thing. I forgot all about it though. But yeah, I got that. I appreciate it too. I got this pencil sharpener. It's funny. It's this tug on it. It's so cool. Donna, thanks for the 10 there. There's not a statement attached, but it's his own statement. Thank you for backing the channel. Appreciate you. Dan Davis. I said David for some reason. I don't know how that had become David. I don't know what the hell. Dan, thanks for the 8 months. Maybe we'll see this in the Karen Reed case. Yeah. The Karen Reed case, that's another one. So people have been like, cover Karen Reed. The Karen Reed case itself isn't what attracts me to that. I'm not saying that case isn't crazy and interesting. It has some interesting stuff. What's interesting to me is the stuff going on with Turtle Boy. Because whether you like or hate the man, they've tried to put him in jail for things that are protected speech. 100%. The judge ruled on that yesterday. They tried to put him in jail for, again, you can have bad will toward somebody. Like if somebody's like, man, I want to ruin your life. And you're like, man, I hope you die in a fire. Stuff like that. You're allowed to say those kind of things. You're allowed to bear, you're allowed to bear a grudge, to be angry. You're allowed to make statements like that. That's not a threat. And so they were trying to put him in jail for things that, again, you may disagree with the way he said things. And this is not about the original charge at all. Like some of that stuff where the charges, it was crazy, though, what they threw in there versus things. But they tried to violate him because he said on YouTube, he made comments they didn't like. And God, that was nuts. So with Karen Reed, the Karen Reed stuff, that's a wild case. But I'm curious about this other aspect of it. Donna, thanks for the 10. Does that mean the blouse got her in handcuffs? Does that mean and the blouse got her in handcuffs? Are you talking about the sonogram? Or I'm confused by the statement there. I apologize. It's just not my clarity on that. I'm thinking, But if you could clarify that one, I'm curious about it. Oh my God. Freaking fake. I hate these fake scammer nonsense. I was checking my email. I saw somebody had sent something, and I thought it was that erroneous, like somebody had accidentally did something on PayPal or something. It's freaking scammers, man. I hate those people. But Donna, if you clarify that, I appreciate it. 1 second here. And yes, Laura Owens is indicted. That's wild, isn't it? K-Rab, thanks for the 36 months. Don't know if you've heard, but Laura Owens, yes, indeed. And I appreciate you noting that too, K-Rab. Patriot for life. Thank you for the 5 there. I was in an OC last week. I was terrified to even drive down that road. That's what I'm saying, man. I'm afraid I'll catch a slug going through there. You know, for real. You know what? Again, I'm careful about saying certain things because I want Travis, for example. I want him to be able to have his business. I want him to be able to succeed. I want him to do great. These people over there, I mean, the last people I saw go down that thing, you know, there were, again, I'm sure more people do it, but one really sticks out to me, you know, that's when some people decided to pull a pew-pew on. And if that thing would have gone a different way, I don't want to be the case file where this proves that Levy County should have done something. Because at the end of the day, you know what happens if somebody gets hurt? Maybe somebody will get fired, but probably not. What would really hurt, you might be able to sue Otter Creek and maybe even win, but typically nothing happens because ultimately, I mean, the police they're just cleanup crew. They're functionaries. They're after the fact functionaries. So yeah, I mean, that's scary. I hear you. Patrick, thanks for 5. Hope what the hell's followers of LMLP does at criminal acts. There's a chance prosecutor will follow through. Chance is small, but there's a chance. Well, she has done, you know, I mean, she's violated a protective order. That is not those issues right there, those are jailable offenses. What have they done about it? I mean, it does the one thing, and I've been written a couple of times about this, where people have asked specifically about the protective order. What good is it if the protective order outlines these people? First of all, they were asked to stop. There was a protective order put in place. They violated the protective order continually. Then you had Bruce, who came in, who's not even part of it. He went out, harassed the Ohio lawyers, made threats toward them. You know, he's not even connected to that, but he makes threats. He makes quite a few statements about Hales and more. So, I mean, it's some wild stuff. Rhea Ryan, what's up? Thanks for the 5 there. Be an idea to go over the whole Laura Owens thing from the beginning. Asking for Flux. Yeah, I would think that would be interesting to sit down and just talk about it, you know. That case ultimately, though, I mean, when you boil down to it has more to uncover. Because I mean, you have Laura Owens that has been indicted, but you got to remember, Laura Owens has multiple protective orders in place. And those protective orders, there's a lot of questionable behavior that goes along with them. She's been able to silence people for years. It's just like people that have been falsely imprisoned. I mean, you know, your life has been changed. Maybe you weren't put in prison, but they had the threat of it hanging over them every single day. One of those, like I said, to tell you how bad those are, one of those instances, I mean, it stuck with me after I read it. You have a guy break up with her. The guy has family that live in the same area. So he goes about his life, just typically there. She ends up stalking him. When she's stalking the man, this is according to her statements are jacked up. What's bad is a lot of this stuff is in her statement. You could just take it and put it together and be like, what the heck now? So she stalks this man. He ends up being like, yo, leave me alone. What she does instead is she contacts the woman that he gets in a relationship with. She contacts through Facebook. She goes after him there. He and his sister run across her. He calls the cops. When he calls the cops, he does what the cops tell her. She says, oh, well, I wrote her because of abuse and this happened and that happened. The cops tell her, you should take out a protective order. And guess what she does? So because he tried to get law enforcement to protect him, he ended up in this nightmare situation. That stuck with me this entire time. And God knows how many other messed up things. We know about a couple of people there. There's one, again, a victim that didn't want to be discussed. They ended up bringing his name out. Ultimately, that's another gingy thing where he dumped that person's name out into the wild when everybody else had danced around it. They were trying to avoid it because this person never made a statement, didn't want to be involved. Gingy did. He put his name out there. And who knows, again, if there are others or what. I have no idea. On. Thanks for the two. Alex Sutton in the chat. Yeah, Megan brought that up too. It's funny. Fallen Hero. What's up, Fallen Hero, my friend? How you doing? It is good to see you as always. Thank you for the gift of membership too, brother. Snowy Hurricane. Thanks for the vibe. Megan and Toad failed to comprehend how suing opposing counsel was poor form and instead determined the judge is wrong. Yeah, you can actually sue a guy and say that he is part of a conspiracy. The judge looked at it, though, and decided that it looked like tit for tat. He looked like, I was like, oh, no. And yeah, the judge, again, there's plenty of evidence to support that. If a judge perceives it, again, the judge has to be careful about a preconceived notion of how something would be. He has to be very careful about that because that leads to appealable error. We talk about it all the time. Appealable error. You don't, as a judge, you don't want to make those. Judges do. So the judge, again, his perception on it, sure, he can have a specific perception of it. The thing is, like when you get into it, what we have found out now, if you missed out on the brand new strokes of everything that came up yesterday, we found out that there was no pro bono lawyer. This was a contingency lawyer. You had Bruce, who inserted himself into this trial, along with Stark. They put together a 40% contingency. That means on the back end, they're angling for a payout. You would have Preston. Preston could get 60%. You would have Stark and Bruce end up with a 40%. 2 months later, right after that, you start having the anti-what-the-hales media ecosystem. That's being formed. That is Bruce talking about it. Isn't that fascinating? So you keep having more and more proof that Bruce, he inserts himself into something. He incentivizes. He chases down a client because he wants to go through the big pockets. That's the way that looks at. And then he's talking about wanting to destroy somebody, wanting to get that fat stack payday. It really looks bad. So the judge, I mean, they can look at it however, but and the judge really has to watch statements that they make on record like that. Because they can't. If you're dealing with, he's commenting on that, but he commented also on a separate trial in that hearing, one that is not in front of him right then. That kind of issue right there, it can cause a big one. Bug Naked, thanks for the 2. I have anxiety over the fence, and I saw my Xanax. So no. Rach, thanks for the 5. I'm back. Had to see the LO stream. Playing an LO big super party with Omar, Dave, Steve, etc. I'm sure there probably will be one. There'll probably be off the hook. I'm sure tomorrow will be an interesting one. Snowy, thanks for the 5 there. Megan and Tug can't comprehend. Randy is in trouble for acting like an a-hole. Sweep. Yeah, I'm sure. That'd be like me saying, your super chat right here, you weren't taking this to be a teachable moment. Man, you know what? Fine. It's so bizarre there. So bizarre. Patrick, thanks to the chair. Oh wow, you be able to raid MG Law tonight. Actually, I usually raid Shizzy, but it's late. I've been late 2 times now. Yeah, thanks for the 20 there. Was glad to be here for the breaking the Owens case. Indeed, that's wild, isn't it? Make sure everybody knows about it too, for sure. Mama Bear, thanks for the 10. I'm a vet assistant. Mushrooms in the yard, grapes, chocolate, pot. Yep. Make sure it's hydrated. That's good. See, right here, talking about the pet. This is good. Boil some grated ginger in water. 1/2 teaspoon every couple of hours will settle tummy. That's good. Appreciate that, by the way. Thank you. Thank you there. I really appreciate you actually giving them the helpful advice there. Emma, thanks for the 5. Do you want progress pics of what I'm making for you? Do you want to be surprised? You decide. If you want to be like, yo, look at this, then send it for sure. If you want to just be like, boom, check that out, you decide there. I'm excited now, though. I love knowing that something's coming. I love when people like send over stuff. I actually like getting stuff in the post office. I think it's cool. I every now and then I'll get something sent, like for me. There's a bunch of stuff. I love that the kids get stuff. By the way, that is better than anything, to be honest. But I have to say, when I get something, I'm like, wow, that's crazy. That's cool too. So however you decide to do it. Let me see about Shizly. And I'm going to have to talk to Shiz because I've been going, longer on it. Give me 1 second. We find old Shizzy. Is Shizzy not live? Yeah, there he is. Well, let's see. There he is. I couldn't. You know what? I could not find his stuff. Give me 1 minute. I'm going to send over to him. Apologies to Shizzy too. Go ahead and rate him if you want. Just tell him. But I'm setting it up too. It has taken me a hot minute to get there. Tonight, like I say, I'm not used to. It's been 2 nights of pretty long live streams. They've been fun to do. All right, there we are. There's Mr. Shizzy Wisnut. And all right, so we are going to redirect to Mr. Shizzy Wisnut. Appreciate it. Like I said, tell him Tug sent you. Apologies to him again. Went later than I thought I would. Thank you, folks. We will see you tomorrow. We will be, I guess, on Megan's channel. Peace.